you, I'm very grateful
I'm
to
sure you
Mark
are.
Belling because he had a huge audience, and then people listened to me, and I was good enough that they liked me. But I don't know that my career would have escalated as it did. As you know, I was on ESPN National very early on with Tony Bruno and
I did know that.
else.
I
Yeah.
did not know about the accounting degree, which has got my interest piqued. So do you do all your own taxes, or do you have a tax guy?
I do not. I think you need to find someone who's better than you are, and I did, and so they do
Okay.
it. I never spent one day as an accountant. I was a computer science major for one semester at Wisconsin. I took a class and turned in the exam. The only time I ever said this, I turned to the teacher and said, "You win." And I went home and told my parents, I was going to get a D, my first D. I don't think I've ever even. I got a C once in high school when I tried to get a C. But I said, I tried. It's just too hard. Well, it turns out I got a B, which only means, I guess, that everybody else was doing worse than I was. But I didn't know that at the time.
And which of the many schools you attended did this occur at?
That was at Wisconsin. So after one semester, I said, I'm out of this. So I said, I think I'll go into business. And I thought the smartest people in the business were accountants. So I said, all right, I'll be an accountant. And the rest is history. And my greatest claim is at IUSB, I had to take advanced accounting. And in the semester, the professor teaching it was the worst professor I'd ever had. I'd had him with. And so I said, I'm going to take advanced.
You'd had him for another class previously?
Yes, before that. Yeah, cost accounting. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take advanced accounting 2 before advanced accounting 1. So I can avoid this professor. And they said, you can't do that. I said, well, what if I get the professor's approval? I said, okay. So I go in and ask the professor, and he said, what? I said, yeah, I want to take your class, advanced accounting 2, before advanced accounting 1. He says, go for it. So half the class failed the first test, of which I was a part of.
Oh, you were among the failures.
Yes.
Okay.
I bet it's first class. I mean, I felt like, okay, like half the class dropped the class. And so now we're down to like 8 or 10 people. And I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I ended up doing okay. So, but at Wisconsin, my greatest feat academically ever, you take your first accounting class, and they're like 200 people. The professor said, look, you get 100 on a test. We will announce your name, and you get to leave the next class because you don't have to go over the review of the class. The second test, Homer nailed it. A 100. All right. I don't know who the 2 other people were. Steve True, stand up. You can leave. Yes. I mean, how many years ago was that? I remember it like it was yesterday. Looking around all those people. And I don't even want to be an accountant. So anyway. That's all.
And that was when you had that curly mop of hair that I've seen the photos.
I'm sorry. Let's move on to other stuff. No one cares.
Matthew chimes in on the in the YouTube comments. Homer reminds me of my grandpa, but younger. I think that's a compliment. Uncle Homie.
The first time I got to play in the Lombardi Classic, I walk up and the kid comes up and says, "You Homer?" I go, "Yeah." And I thought, hey, no one knows. He says, "My grandpa loves you." Okay.
And now he only has to devote 1 hour of his time now to your program, the Homer Hour, every weekday on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
And that can be confused with my biggest fan 2 weeks ago. It said, Homer, I'm your biggest fan. I know you've been here since 1989. I go, yeah. He goes, how you like retirement?
Well, you're not retired today. Can you handle 3 hours?
Sure, because I'm not running the show.
Yeah? Okay.
All I got to do is Tausch. I got to be his Tausch. I can be Tausch for 3 hours.
Well, usually you guys
not
are
as good as
with
Tausch, but I can do the Tausch.
Well, we're happy to have you as our cousin sub of the day.
Thanks.
There's a bunch of Packers stuff I want to get into. Some of the conversations that we had earlier in the week, I want to bounce them off you because we only had you for a couple of minutes on Wednesday. We'll get to that coming up. I know you like when you are in for Tausch for people to ask me questions. That is one of the things that we have done previously when you've been the cousin sub of the day. Usually, I mean, really just on Wednesdays now because you turn the show over to John Anderson on Tuesdays and Bulaga on Thursdays. But on Wednesdays, you and I get to talk and you ask me a series of questions. So if you have any, the floor will also be yours. But you can get in on the conversation. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless talk and text line. Carbless, less is more. We can also get to some of the other goings-on in the sports world. And, of course, I'm going to fend off my dog, Sadie, here, who wants her squeaky ball. More Wilde and Tausch with Homer as our cousin sub of the day. Straight ahead, stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It's the 2024 model closeout sale at Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie. Save $10,000 on a 24 Silverado RST Crew Cab 4x4. Save $2,000 on a 24 Chevy Trax LT, and save $12,500 on a 24 Silverado LV with 0.9% APR available. Plus, save $11,500 on a 24 Blazer EV RS. Hurry, these closeout deals won't last for long. Visit Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie and ZimbrickChevrolet.com for details. Offers end January 31st.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison wants you to start the year behind the wheel of a brand new ride in our Road to the Motherlode giveaway. On Friday, January 31st, there are lots of opportunities for you to strike gold. 3 winners will be chosen every half hour from 6 p.m. until 9:30, with each taking home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500. Then at 10 o'clock, one grand prize winner will receive our largest single prize ever, a $50,000 vehicle certificate. And it's only at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in, and beautiful, energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Matt Hamilton here. As a proud Wisconsinite, I'm all about supporting local. And there's nothing more local than Metcalf's Market. Metcalf's Rewards is your key to incredible savings. With thousands of coupons available every week, loyal members enjoy special pricing on select sale items. Plus, it's free to join. And when you sign up in-store using your phone number, new members instantly receive 500 points, equivalent to $5 off your purchase. Visit Metcalf's Market in Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or in Wauwatosa today. And start saving with Metcalf's Rewards. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
Attention Wisconsin Badgers volleyball fans. Join head coach Kelly Sheffield, Love Madison star Sarah Franklin, and ESPN Madison Tuesday evening at North and South Seafood and Smokehouse in Verona for a special Wisconsin volleyball celebration. Starting at 6 o'clock, announcer John Audius leads a Q&A, followed by opportunities for pictures and autographs with Sarah Franklin and Kelly Sheffield. It all starts with Jim, Matt, and Molly broadcasting live from 4 to 6. Celebrate Wisconsin volleyball Tuesday night at North and South Seafood and Smokehouse in Verona with Sarah Franklin, Kelly Sheffield, and ESPN Madison.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. The holiday season may be over, but that means Valentine's Day is approaching. It doesn't matter the occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, or if you're in the doghouse, or if you want to stay out of it, I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Ordering pizza for game day can be a tough call to make. Do you get a pizza, or are you craving some wings? At Pizza Hut, there's only one right answer. Get both. Introducing Pizza Hut's original stuffed crust and wings bundle. Get a large one-topping stuffed crust pizza and 16 boneless wings with 2 sauces for only $19.99. An unbeatable value that can feed the whole crew. Perfect for game days, family nights, or any gathering. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
With tears in my eyes and love in my soul, I feel like starting something. The pain it subsides the minute I go.
Steve the Homer True is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Sources close to the program indicate he will also be the cousin sub of the day next Friday in my stead, because the girls have a gymnastics meet and we'll be headed on the road again like we were on our way to Eau Claire. Yeah, put that in your calendar. Put that in your Palm Pilot.
Today he gets to be Tausch for 3 hours. Next week he gets to be with Tausch for 3 hours.
Who's running the show?
That's a great question.
I know. I'm on a
not
cruise.
me.
Good luck.
I heard mixed reviews on Tausch running the show with Joe Thomas when I was traveling to Eau Claire a couple Fridays ago, or last Friday.
I think he would take mixed reviews. I don't think he'd be bothered by that. At all.
Look, he's. Let me be very clear.
He might prefer mixed reviews.
Be very clear.
I want to be very clear. He is a genius, and we are lucky to have him. So
right. Well, you have to be very clear because that defends him being just average when he runs the show.
No, it's that when I say I need to have a role around here too. Remember, too. I think that's important. But whenever I give him a hard time, I don't want people to think that I don't love the big fella. I didn't love his Christmas gift, but other than that, I love the guy.
What was his Christmas gift? You brought it up.
You did bring it up.
You know you have somebody filling in who might not know this.
Well, I thought you listened to our show wall to wall every day.
No, I do not. I
thought we
listen wall to
provided
wall.
a guide for you on what you might want to go, because you
listen way more than either of the two of you listen to my show. Way more in terms of percentages, but
I mean, that's
not really
that hard.
I know. I thought I'd say it first, but so. You brought it up. What did he give you for Christmas?
Well, there's a lot more of our show to listen to,
if you
too.
go based on percentage of the show, it might be close.
That's actually very fair.
That was mean.
No,
it
was.
We
love you.
No, it was meant
these,
to be mean. Oh, yeah, we love you. Oh, then it's okay. That helps.
No, this is what I'm saying is that, so this, and this is why, this is an unexpected segue here, but this is why the Ben Johnson shot at Matt LaFleur was so confusing to me. Like, I can joke about you having only a 1 hour show because you know what a Homer supporter I am. You know that I know that you would like to be on more than an hour. So all of that stuff, you know,
Not
I feel
anymore.
that way.
I want to be on record. Not anymore.
Okay. Good to
happy
know.
with an hour.
Okay.
Put that down. Just be aware of that.
I will make a note of that. But I'm giving a guy that I've known a long time, who is my friend and someone who I trust when I need advice or what have you. I'm giving you a hard time. Same with Tausch. That's why I always do want to make sure I do add that he's a genius and I love him, because sometimes I give him a hard time.
I just want to give you a tip.
Yeah.
You don't need to do any of that. It's just crumbs.
Well, it's important to me. But when you juxtapose what I just did, zinging you a couple times, to what Ben Johnson did, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this
I
because
know,
it got
I'm just
a lot
not
of
bothered
oxygen.
by it as much as anyone else. I
just didn't think it was funny, and it didn't make any sense because they, like, why
But
be
you
a
don't
knob?
know him. You don't know him. Nobody knows him. Now, this may be an indication of kind of what he's like. Nobody knows him. Right?
Well, don't you
can't
like,
say you're surprised. I don't know him to know what he's like at all. Do you? What?
So when they have played the Lions, there's a website that's available to media, and obviously the beat writers across all teams use it more than there's not like audio available, so it's not like if you are purely in the radio world, you're going there to get some audio to use, or if you're TV, there's not video for it. It's basically there's transcripts and information, right?
Okay.
So whenever they play the Lions, when the Packers do, I would go to the Lions section of this site that curates all of the different transcripts and everything else from all the different teams.
Right.
And I would read his, and there was never in the 3 years he was the offensive coordinator, going into or coming out of Packers games, anything from him that led me to believe that there was any sort of either at one end of the spectrum beef with Matt LaFleur or at the other end of the spectrum that they're buddies and they could rib each other. They have no shared history, and the idea that, that's what new Bears coaches do is they zing the Packers or talk about the Packers.
I don't know, but you knew why he said nothing as far as a coordinator. The head coach is King Kong. He controls everything. And so a coordinator with the Lions is insignificant because nothing matters and nothing they say is going to equal what King Kong is saying, not to mention they know that he wants to be in charge of everything. So there was no way, even with that information, Jason, you could have any idea what he's really like. And we still don't know. I took it as that he thinks Matt LaFleur is a really good mind and that he likes beating him.
Yeah.
Because he's good. But I grant you he didn't explain it very well, so I'm guessing like everyone else. And, we don't, right? You don't know what he's going to be like as a head coach, and it's a legitimate question. He seems a bit of a geek. But he might have been a bit of a geek as a coordinator. I'm sure the people at Detroit, you have inside information that people can tell you what he's really like.
Yeah, really smart guy. I don't want to use the word awkward because I have not interacted with him
I'll
personally.
Use it. Awkward.
Yeah.
But I would go by what people in Detroit told you. I can see somebody saying he's just a little geek, awkward. But that's not viewed as a negative thing anymore.
And very confident in himself. That is also true. So my question regarding
But that's a positive sign, you would agree, even to the point of craziness. That's a part of very successful head coaches, right?
No doubt.
They call dial a prayer and ask for messages. You can use that.
I don't think is dial a prayer still around?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a phone line. It was like 414 God love, and it would like give you some sort of like homily for the day. I was wondered if it was you doing it because it was,
I don't have enough variety. I use the same one every day, so I can't do it.
My question is, regardless of how awkward that may have been or weird it might have been in our estimation, do you think Packers fans should be worried about him being the Bears coach?
Yes.
Because of what you saw from that offense. Why do you say that?
Yes. I mean, first of all, the biggest question to me is, and again, I defer to you if you ask the people inside, he must think that Caleb Williams can be good. Otherwise, he would have not taken the job. Or if he did take the job and he doesn't think he's good, then he's an idiot, and then he'll fit what the Bears have done recently. But I assume the only reason he takes the job is because he thinks Caleb Williams can be good with his direction, right? And it's got to be the number one reason you take the job, correct?
Well, considering that he could have probably gotten both the Seattle and the Washington jobs, and obviously the Washington job did not have Jaden Daniels attached to it last year yet, right? They knew they had the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah,
and
he messed up.
He walked away from that. Obviously, he didn't think Seattle with Geno Smith was a great job, so he came back for another year as a coordinator, which is what the Buccaneers coordinator appeared to be doing. And then the Jaguars fired Trent Baalke as the GM, and suddenly now Liam Cohen is taking that job.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
What's not to understand? It's crazy the owner would agree to that as a coach being more important than the GM. But, hey, I don't like the GM. All right, fired the GM. Now what do you think?
That maneuver made me think, boy, the remarkable world that we live in.
Who's going to take that job as a GM knowing the coach is ahead of them?
Right. Mm-hmm. Also, we have breaking news from the NFL from Adam Schefter. The ESPN app now has this nifty little feature where you can get all of Schefty's alerts, but not as tweets. They're from the ESPN app. And from Adam Schefter, the Raiders and Pete Carroll are aiming to work out an agreement to make him their new head coach.
Wow.
That's two sides are in talks,
Who is
but
this
there
again?
is no deal yet. Pete Carroll set to become the new Raiders head coach.
Oh, that fits.
As a fellow 70-something, how do you feel about that?
No, they're a total mess. Al Davis was a genius, and his kid's an idiot. So, I mean, it's real simple. Raiders have no idea what they're doing, and they'll never have any idea as long as he's the owner. Because the owner is the most important part of any organization. He clearly has no clue what he's doing. And the Packers should be thankful for that.
You don't think hiring Pete Carroll is a good idea?
It is when you don't know what you're doing, because you at least know he's going to have some energy. But is there a future? Or, like you're owning the Raiders. You going to hire Pete Carroll? No.
Maybe actually.
Okay.
Maybe someone who's had success, who knows what they're doing, who would put some sort of authentic program in place is what they need. Structure.
Right.
And remember, Brady is involved with them now. Brady's involved in their search. So is it possible? I mean, Pete Carroll obviously won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady knows a thing or two about football. Maybe there's a chance that's a really good hire. Again, this is the same reason why I thought Mike McCarthy, who may not win another Super Bowl with whichever team he coaches, if any, is still a really good hire, because if you have not had stability and structure in your program, he is great at that, and he wins a lot of football games.
Yeah, I could see Brady being like, my owner's an idiot. He'd probably do something really stupid. So no one's going to say this is really stupid. He's old.
Other than you just did.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't have hired him, but it's not, it's very possible the Raiders would have done something even more stupid. So, by the way, Brady has to be told to quit immediately. He can't be the voice of the NFL and be a part owner of a team. I don't get that, but clearly they like having him as part of it. And
couldn't agree more.
Conflict of interest. And I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Brady
because
he's better.
He should know better.
Yes, by his own standard. By his own standard. Mm-hmm. Like, you're such a media crazy man, and I think he's been doing Botox and stuff on his face. His face has changed, like certain other women I've mentioned on the air. There's no question that.
I'd prefer we'd avoid that today.
No, I want somebody to start doing pictures of people before and after, that they notice their face is different. Not like a new nose, not like big lips, but their face isn't the same. They don't look like Aaron Andrews. You can work on that one. That's one to start with.
Why do we have to? No, stop. Why?
What?
We're not doing this.
Why not? It's the truth, and I want somebody to study. They can look at it and say, Homer, you're wrong. Or they can look and go like, damn. There's nothing wrong with it. They look good. I can see them doing it. Their face is different. How many people have you ever met when you go, that person looks different? Never up until the last few years, right?
And that concludes our recap of Ben Johnson being hired by the Bears.
And Ed Helms sucked on The Office. Pete Carroll, the candidates for the Raiders job are now being told that Pete Carroll is the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. So there you have it. I look forward.
Is Dick Vermeil still alive?
He is. Yeah, I just saw him. Yeah. He did something with my buddy
Dick
Paul
Vermeil
Domowitch.
I would have had Dick Vermeil over Pete Carroll if you're looking for.
I don't think
people
Dick
you can trust.
Vermeil's looking to get back into coaching. No,
I think he may not be, but I'd ask him first.
But Pete Carroll is.
If I'm going
maybe they
direction.
did. Maybe because they're such a well-run organization. Maybe they did.
And I will also believe, put this on the record, that Brady got involved because he was afraid his owner was going to do something really stupid. And Pete Carroll is, for the reasons that you stated, a safe selection.
Yeah, I think it could turn out to be really good. And let's say he does it for 4 years, and then you have someone that he grooms to be the next guy who can keep stability. They did not have any stability. It did not work out for Devontae Adams there. And speaking of the Raiders.
Hold on, let me just ask you about what happened in Seattle. Isn't that where Carroll was last?
Yeah, but he was there for a long time, and it kind
of
just
started
to go
I
sideways
know, but you have a good GM
eventually.
that you know and you believe in. So what happened that he lost it there? That would concern
I am of
me.
The belief that every NFL coach, every NFL head coach has a shelf life, an expiration date at their place, not as a coach in his entirety, but at a certain place. Now, I think Bill Walsh actually was one of the people who would say that 7 years was enough at one place. Now, he obviously, I don't know how long he was actually the coach of the 49ers, but there is that theory. Pete Carroll was the coach in Seattle from 2010, right? They hired him and John Schneider at the same time, but Pete Carroll had a little more sway, and eventually that started to shift through 2023. So Pete Carroll was there for, 14 seasons, if my math is correct? Yeah. That's a long time. And it's kind of like Mike McCarthy, right? By 18, it was time for a change. And so
wait a minute. No, you can't. I feel like I'm talking to Aaron Rodgers. You can't do that. Mike McCarthy got fired only because Aaron Rodgers didn't want him around. Only reason. That didn't happen in Seattle. What?
I don't think you're right about that.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers could have gone in, or they wouldn't have known that Aaron Rodgers wanted Mike McCarthy still to be the coach, that he wouldn't still be the coach?
But that's different.
No, it isn't. What's different?
Well, the idea that he didn't go in and try to convince them to keep Mike McCarthy isn't the same as him he could have been ambivalent to it. But again, I don't think he wanted
Excuse me, you're trying to sell me ambivalent at Aaron Rodgers?
No, what I'm saying is that both Mark Murphy and Russ Ball and Goody also felt the same way as Aaron Rodgers, that it was time for a change.
Right, but if Aaron Rodgers had felt it was not time for a change,
correct,
and they would know this, not just on him talking to him, they felt that he believed it was time for a change, and that was the most important thing by far, because if he didn't feel there was a change, would they have made a change, Jason, yes or no? You know the answer is no.
I don't think so, no.
Correct.
But
right,
again,
that's my point.
It's not as if they made the change because they wanted to keep Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers wanted him out.
Right, but their opinions were secondary. The equipment manager might have wanted to change coaches.
Because I don't think. I'll be honest. Even by 18, right, I don't think that those three guys that we're referring to there, especially the one who Aaron Rodgers was part of the I don't want him to be the GM crowd of Russ Ball, I don't think that they were overly interested in his input or opinion. So had he gone in and fought for Mike McCarthy, that would have probably changed things, yes. They also knew that he wasn't going to do that.
Yes, which made it easier.
But they independently wanted to move on from him, too.
But you just said they wouldn't have done it without what they knew that he thought.
Well, that's what I think. I don't know that. But again,
that's my point.
Part of the problem down the stretch of his career with the Packers was that they didn't give a damn what he thought. They had no interest in him being involved in conversations about a myriad of things.
Well, then you could say if he had believed in McCarthy and they knew it, they still would have fired McCarthy.
I can tell you this.
That's
he did not want Mike McCarthy fired after that game on his birthday.
Nice try. Come on.
He didn't. He wanted him to finish out the season.
And then get a new coach.
And then get fired.
And you're going to hold on to that if that's your best case, I rest
No,
mine.
it's not my best case.
Why do you even bring that up? That is so weak.
Because
and you know it's weak.
I bring it up because it goes to show that they did what they wanted to do. Because they did not. There's no way. Aaron Rodgers was not on board with firing him when they fired him.
Next question for you. If they knew Aaron Rodgers liked Mike McCarthy as coach, would they have fired Mike McCarthy at any point in that season?
This is such a stupid debate.
No, it isn't. It's very important.
Of course they knew that they had run their course. You heard Murphy say it repeatedly.
Yes or no? Did Aaron Rodgers get Mike McCarthy fired? And the answer is yes.
No, the answer is no. He didn't help him keep his job. And you think that those are two different things?
No,
I think those are two different things. You don't.
No, he didn't. He was tired of McCarthy. If he had not even gone to them, but had made it clear to you and everyone else how much he believed in McCarthy, he would not have been fired. You know that, and I know that. And they made the right decision They wanted their quarterback to be happy. That was the only hope for them to win. They made the right decision, but they made it because the quarterback's happiness with his head coach or offensive player was the most important decision they had to make.
Okay.
Yes or no?
No. I think they all knew in the building that Aaron Rodgers was not a fan of Mike McCarthy.
He was ready to move on.
He was ready to move on, yes.
Right.
And would they have made the change if Aaron Rodgers had stomped his feet and jumped up on Mark Murphy's desk and said, no, this is a huge mistake?
All right, your answer.
No, they
this is what I
wouldn't
want to
have.
hear. What?
But they also knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to do that.
Add whatever you want.
So
he didn't have to talk to them for them to know how he felt about McCarthy.
It's not. But let's be clear. It's not like Murphy and Ball and Goody wanted Mike McCarthy to keep coaching the team, and they fired him at Aaron Rodgers' behest. I think there is a difference between what you are saying is the same and what is actually not the same. So they all wanted to move on. And if Aaron Rodgers
and
tried
whose
to stop
opinion was
them,
the most important, and none of the others even come close to being as important?
I don't think I can tell you that they were also tired of the quarterback who didn't play great in 18 either. So I don't think they were super interested. And the fact that Goody was ready to take Drew Lock at number 12 overall in the 2019 draft tells you he didn't really give a damn about what the quarterback felt either.
State clearly that they made the decision and didn't care what Aaron Rodgers thought about Mike McCarthy. Go ahead and say it. I want to hear you say it because I know you don't believe it. But go ahead and say it if you wish. If you want to hold on and carry that for the rest of your life. The Green Bay Packers fired Mike McCarthy and did not care what Aaron Rodgers thought was about McCarthy. Those are the words. Please, Jason Wilde.
More Wilde and Tausch with Homer in as our cousin sub of the day. Stick around.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Model year closeout specials are going on now at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Mark Tausch here encouraging you to log on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com to check out all the 2024 model year closeout specials. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, now is the perfect time to take advantage of some great year-end offers. It's also the time of the year where cold weather can impact your vehicle's performance. A few helpful tips from the service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet. If your battery is 5 years old or more, consider changing it right now. Don't wait to get stranded. Don't ignore your tires. When it snows, you know how important it is for your tires to have great traction on the slippery roads. And don't forget your windshield wipers. Don't set yourself up for a bad situation by looking through streaks and smears. Just stop by Zimbrick Chevrolet. They can replace your wiper blades. Just stop by Zimbrick Chevrolet so they can replace your wiper blades. Keep your vehicle ready for winter driving. Book an appointment with the service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet right now at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie. The name you can trust.
Staying on Wisconsin sports never stops with the Jump Around podcast.
Adding some interesting players through the transfer portal, mixing in, obviously, Jacksonville State. That's kind of a bump up, but I don't hate that way to recruit. I think there is a Moneyball aspect of if you have the right scouts and you can identify the right talent, this could be the new walk-on for Badger football and finding those players that can take that next step.
The Jump Around podcast with Jim Rutledge, streaming live every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison wants you to start the year behind the wheel of a brand new ride in our Road to the Mother Lode giveaway. On Friday, January 31st, there are lots of opportunities for you to strike gold. 3 winners will be chosen every half hour from 6 p.m. until 9:30, with each taking home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500. Then at 10 o'clock, one grand prize winner will receive our largest single prize ever, a $50,000 vehicle certificate. And it's only at
James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed Wisconsin business technology company. 20-year James client Daniel Bertelson, CEO at Remax Preferred.
Reliability and consistency are the key to any successful business, and for our networking and digital solutions, they've been that right along with us for all these years.
Local reliability and consistency has also had a positive impact for Baker Manufacturing. Purchasing Manager Jennifer Wilger.
It helps keep us efficient and productive, and we can keep our minds on what's really important, and that's taking care of our customers.
And Josh Gavel, Service Manager with Kirsch Appliance, also depends on the reliability and consistency of local service from James Imaging Systems.
Yeah, you get somebody that knows what they're doing, come in here and get it done in 5 minutes, and we're not having to take our time to do it.
Go with local. Go with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive.
Is this you? Or is this some sort of like a parody? Are you in the YouTube comments?
Yes, I love the YouTube comments. I've ditched Twitter for during the show, and I'm trying to get people involved in the YouTube comments because I'm kind of being told that YouTube is the deal now, right? And
very popular.
Yeah, so I blocked people now on Twitter, too, for the first time.
What? Whoa. I've been telling you that for years. What made you come around on that?
No, very few. But if somebody believes I'm horrible, why would I want to read what they have to say?
I couldn't agree with you more.
So you have to go really far, and so I would say I've probably done 5 maximum, 3 to 5. Because I'm willing to accept when people say you stink and this is why.
Okay.
But if you just in Twitter fashion go to a level that I think is you're clearly not giving it any consideration. You're just
a jerk.
Me. No, I don't know. You just want to hate me, or that's a part of what you can do on Twitter. Yeah, I require some level of reasoning for
decorum?
whatever you think. No decorum, but I know I can. I'm the proudest tweet that I liked ever was when I still push for Hank the dog being in the Brewers Walk of Fame. I just think it's such an easy. People love to go there and take the picture.
R.I.P.
And I
Hank.
just pushed it, and someone tweeted "F you and the dog," and I thought, man, that is so good. I don't know how to match that creativity, but I said I could go off to lunch with that person. But if every day they're sending something like that, then There's nothing. I'm not learning or laughing. That's my requirement of Twitter. I have to learn or laugh. I got to write that down. That's pretty good.
So
All right, go ahead.
Could you help us teach Tausch how to interact with fans in the YouTube comments?
I don't know what's the problem.
Well, he can't even get logged in.
He doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
Claims he's a subscriber, but he's not.
I can only tell you one thing about Tausch. If he claims he doesn't get it, it's because he doesn't want to get it. Now, I don't know why he doesn't want to get it. There's nothing that he doesn't get if he chooses to want to get it. So,
very well
I don't
said.
know that part. That part I don't understand. I don't. It's not that difficult. I don't know that I had to do something or.
Yeah. Again, we also haven't gotten him on video for like a week, so I'm not sure exactly.
I don't think he's sold that this stuff is worthy of his attention because of the number of people. There are very few participants. I always check participants. Now we have Jason, you and I, and 2 others. So my challenge is, how do you get more participants? Because I would think this could be the area where people would have questions.
You're in the wrong tab. So
am I?
Okay. So we've got right now. We've got a combined. First of all, Madison is where a lot of the chatting goes on, but we got about 400 people watching between the 2 streams.
Okay,
and then you have
that's
a choice
watching.
between live chat and top chat.
Yeah.
Live chat, you see everybody. Top chat, you just see really important people like you.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. I didn't know that. I'll change to live chat. Okay. Deal.
Glad I can help.
Good. Thank you.
Speaking of people that are there to help, Associated.
But now, still, participants are only 4.
I don't have a participant counter.
Yeah, it's under the 3 dots. ... You go there and it lists participants, and then you can see who's there. That's a whole separate one for live chat or top chat. But anyway,
yeah, there they are.
But
yeah.
again, so this is an early thing. So I think Tausch doesn't believe it's worthy of his time yet. So that's your job.
What I can tell you, Jesse, are you changing your opinion on YouTube or no?
This sounds like when my mom and dad call me and they're like, "Hey, we can't get the printer to work."
Shut up! Shut up! That's just crap. This is not at that level, and you know it.
I'm not saying it.
You're
it's
just.
exactly
What do you mean
like
you're
that.
not
It
saying?
reminds
That's
me
just
of that.
That's mean and inaccurate, and to compare it at that level is okay. Now someone is saying, and understandably so, that more are on the. There are another 200 plus on the Madison feed. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on the YouTube. ESPN Milwaukee. I'll change to ESPN Madison.
I try to keep them both open. Again, for those of you that are enjoying Homer's interaction, again, when I'm trying to run the show, I try to get over there. I read a lot of what you write. I don't always engage. I will get back to that coming up. Want to remind you, regardless of whether Homer's in the ESPN Madison YouTube chat or the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat, Associated Bank has been with us from the beginning, long before we were even on YouTube. Tausch is still trying to figure out how to do a radio show again without video, which we've been doing now for a long time. Associated Bank has figured out that you have to evolve as your customers do and make sure you give your customers the things they need to be happy and effective with their money, and that is exactly what Associated Bank does. It's not just Packers checking, even though Packers fans love to have Packers checks, a Packers debit MasterCard, and 10% off the Packers Pro Shop in-store and online. It's also the credit monitor that they have that gives you your free credit score, fraud alerts, everything you need from anywhere. Early pay on direct deposits. You get access to your direct deposit from your employer up to 2 days early. $50 overdraft grace zone, where if you withdraw and you overdraw, as long as it's under $50, there's no penalty. All kinds of great perks that come with the best customer service in the industry. They've got the awards to prove it. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More with Homer.
Hey, Smarty, the participants in Madison, they're only about 8.
What?
Again, I don't know. I did not. I will say this, not to sound
Participants are the number of people that are responding and actually making chats, not necessarily those people that are reading it. I don't care about all those people reading
right. So
it.
if they don't say anything, doesn't mean that they're not reading along. Maybe they're just not verbose like you.
They're irrelevant to me. They're irrelevant
to
to me if they aren't contributing. I don't care that they exist.
All right. So if you're watching on YouTube, Homer would like you to contribute.
Yes.
Even if it's just with a hello, so then you're included in the participant
No,
list.
if you have some opinion on something, that's
we haven't asked for their opinion. We've been
I
too
don't
busy
have to
yelling
ask
at each
for it.
other.
If they care and they're in a chat, they have something they want to say because they think it's important based on our conversation. Just like on Twitter. You don't have to ask them, they respond.
Again.
Kelly says hello. Steven says, I'm in Madison. Green Bay G, homie in the house. Tom, Homer, keep up the good work.
Thank you for all these great participants.
Jerry
those are,
morning.
Those are
Homer.
worthless too, and I agree.
And by the way, for those of you curious, he goes by Steve True in the comments section. He doesn't even go by Homer. More Wilde and Tausch with Homer in as our YouTube sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
Mark Tausch here, and while I'll admit I'd rather be gearing up to see Green Bay playing this weekend, I'm still feeling good on a Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints. With only a couple of weekends left of football for this season, it might be time to start thinking about getting to work on your next paint project around the house. And just like the pro football players we love watching on Sundays, I recommend doing what my family did and get connected with the pro painters from Home and Lindsay for your next project. Choosing the pros is the way to go. Just stop into any Madison area Home and Lindsay location, ask, and they'll help find the pro painters best suited for what you need. And remember, Home and Lindsay Paints is the one paint you can trust to withstand the challenges of Wisconsin's weather year-round. Home and Lindsay, great paint, great people, and stick around for Feel Good Friday coming up to close out today's show, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Checks and balances. The Xavier Lucas transfer drama making its way to Monday's Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez. Coach calling for the powers that be to step in to resolve the big picture issue.
Sooner or later, you'd like for the NC2A or someone to put their arms around it and have restrictions and guidelines that people have to follow. And if you don't follow them, you're going to be reprimanded, you're going to be dealt with. It's the Wild West right now. I just don't like it. I'm glad I'm not involved in it.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Searching for the perfect brunch spot this weekend? Look no further than the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. Every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., indulge in the Great Dane's sweet and savory brunch menu paired with mimosas, Bloody Marys, or one of their signature beers on tap. Enjoy at any of their 4 Madison area pubs, downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Learn more and view the full menu at greatdanepub.com/brunch. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Dancing on the edge, about to take it too far. Messing with my head, how I'm messing your heart. If you wake up in your bed, alone in the dark, I'm sorry. Gotta leave before you love me. Leave before you love me. Leave before you love me. Leave before you love me.
All right, I got to be honest. I am exhausted after 1 hour with Uncle Homer. But because I'm a professional, I'm going to continue on. But I'm watching you read the YouTube comments. Are you? I can't believe this. This is such a discovery. I suppose if I listened to your show more, I would know that you're engaging there more.
I'm working on it, yeah, because I get the feeling that that's the direction everybody's going. I have to make sure that it doesn't offend people. Somebody got mad because during a Marquette game, I was tweeting about another topic.
You're a multitasker. That's part of your charm.
No, it was during a commercial break, and somebody
during the under 12 timeout, you're just like, I'm going to tweet about this now.
No, there was a guy who's been a regular person on Twitter, and he had a question about something, and I thought it was worthy of a response. And the person then said they were offended that I was tweeting on something else during the game. So that was the first person I blocked.
But it was not. You were not calling a Cam Jones three-pointer and responding simultaneously, just so we're clear.
Correct. Yes, and I'm offended by, and then not to mention that I would say this, that if I was, then again, the complaint is if you're doing terrible play-by-play, or if somebody said, hey, you don't even know this or that, and then they would have a defense. The problem with Twitter is, and that's why I've gone to YouTube, they don't even listen to the show.
Correct.
So why should I care what anybody says who doesn't listen to the show?
I've said that for a while.
I don't. But it doesn't mean you can't use it to make people aware of the show, as you do and Tausch do.
That's what we do. Yep.
You seem to have figured it out real well, and I'm trying to do the same. So.
Well, I'm glad we can.
You've been very helpful. Yeah,
be helpful to your program. All right, so there. I know it doesn't feel like we've had much of a substantive conversation during the first hour.
My dad did text me because he's very tech savvy. And he said,
I'm sure he's not happy about the printer thing either.
You should be nicer to your parents, was the text. Yeah, I probably should.
Not if it's true.
I understand that. And George, we love you. But the line about the printer was really, really funny, in fairness to Jesse.
It was incredibly mean, too. Why don't you?
I don't think it was mean. I don't think it was. He took a shot at me, too.
If I have difficult answering a physics question and he says, my parents can't even take out their trash, I'm not done yet. And I'm the guest. I thought you would treat guests with some sense of...
You're not a guest. You're a sub. You're not a guest.
Oh.
Wednesdays you're a guest. Today you're a sub.
So subs
different.
rank below guests? That's the stupidest opinion you've ever had. You need a sub a lot more than you need a guest.
That's
because I can leave right now.
No, well, I would hope you wouldn't do that.
I would hope, but do you now accept admit that you need subs more than guests. Yes or no?
I wasn't saying that a guest is more important than a sub.
You
I was
just
just
did.
clarifying what you are. You said I'm a guest. No, you're the sub. Who I need more than the guest.
Oh, nice cover. Crumbs. That should be your new nickname. I should have my new nickname for you. Crumbs. Just throw them a little crumbs. That'll work. You made it clear that guests are more important than subs based on how I was treated.
When you come on Wednesdays, he's like, oh, one of my favorite humans. Love catching up with this guy. And when you come in today, he's like, oh, look who we got today.
Nicely done. I'm still mad at you, but that's better.
Just to be
what was your
clear-
name again?
Yeah.
Just to be clear, Len Casper. Just to be clear, the printer joke was also a shot at me because I didn't know that there was a little participants button that you could check. So we were both being made fun of there by Jesse and being compared to his parents, who he loves very much, except for when they go on vacation when it's his birthday. All right, I want to have a conversation about this number one wide receiver thing that we didn't get to yesterday with Homer, with Tausch. I want to get to it with Homer. I also want to get to it with Rob Demovsky, who's scheduled to appear at 10:30.
Ooh, I will listen well then. That's a great listening time.
And you won't interrupt at all.
Nope.
The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street, and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Of course, the Green Bay Packers do not have a football game this weekend, but the team that eliminated them from the postseason does. The Philadelphia Eagles, the home team for the NFC Championship game on Sunday, playing host to Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. 2 o'clock kickoff for the NFC Championship game, followed by the AFC Championship, the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Plenty looking ahead to the football weekend all day long here on 100.5 ESPN, including coming up on Wilde and Tausch with Homer in his The Cousin Sub of the Day for Tausch until noon here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Homer, the voice of Marquette men's basketball. The 10th-ranked Golden Eagles in action tonight at Fiserv Forum, playing host to Villanova. Tip time is set for 6 o'clock on our sister station, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Wisconsin next in action back at the Kohl Center Sunday afternoon, playing host to Nebraska. Tip time is set for noon in the Connor Esigian return to the Kohl Center. Milwaukee Bucks winners last night over the Miami Heat, landing in Milwaukee 2 hours before tip. They're in L.A. tomorrow night.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
For the 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Steve the Homer True, noted YouTuber. Do you get into the comments on God Talk too, or that's not live, right? That's pre-recorded. So there's not really a live chat there.
Yeah, that I've been aware of for some time. Those go back forever, so that's to me different.
I look forward to my return engagement on that program, even though Tausch has yet to do it once. All right, I want to get to this wide receiver.
You want to do a return engagement?
I think so. I'm really. I don't want to do it
now.
now.
You're very high up on the number of people that have watched yours.
Yeah, I don't want to do it now, but
Okay, well, tell us when you will. We'll do it.
I just want people that profess to be Christians to behave like Christians. I would like this.
How many times do we have to go over this?
We're not going over it now. I can tell you that. We can go over it later. We're going to go over wide receivers.
Welcome
and
to
the importance
humanity.
of. You always say that when I'm disappointed in people.
I know.
Because I'm naive and I'm Pollyanna, and I want to believe the best in people. All right. I want to believe that the Packers' offense is good enough without going out and getting T. Higgins or going out and signing some other wide receiver, unless, of course, it's Davante Adams, who I would love to have back in the Packers locker room as one of my guys. That said, I asked Matt LaFleur, and I also asked Goody about this. I want to play for you the Matt LaFleur answer and get your thoughts on it, Homer. And then after that, in the next segment, we'll hear from Goody. But in my opinion, and they don't care what my opinion is, obviously, just like they didn't really care what Aaron Rodgers' opinion was of Mike McCarthy. They don't care about my opinion, but my opinion is they need someone in-house to elevate to that level. Don't go spending bonko dollars on T. Higgins, who, ironically enough, you could have just drafted to begin with, but you chose Jordan Love instead, which has worked out pretty well. The history shows you that they have had homegrown number one wide receivers for a very, very long time. Here is my exchange first with Matt LaFleur in his postseason presser.
No, if we asked any more questions about anything other than having a number one wide receiver versus having the group that you have. But historically around here, whether it was Jennings or Jordy or Davante, someone from inside the group elevated to being that guy. Do you need someone, after what you experienced this season, do you need someone to take that role on, or is that still not something that matters?
I would say it just depends on the situation. I know, I'm sorry. I know you want a better answer than that, but I will tell you, I think our collection of receivers is pretty darn good. I think we got 6 guys that we definitely feel like we can lean on. I do think just going back to this last game, losing Christian obviously hurt us. And then in game, when you lose Rome and Jay Reed, I mean, that definitely didn't help. But to answer your question, I can't really answer your question. It just depends who we're playing. If we're getting a bunch of, do you want a guy that can catch a slant and take it to the house? Absolutely. But I think we have guys. It just depends how teams play us, how much man you're going to get, and do you isolate that guy and let him go win a one-on-one? And
You had Davante obviously here. You know what happens when the money's on the table and you have a guy that you just absolutely know can get over. So I understand it's situational, but when there's a guy that elevates his game, that does change the dynamic of an offense, right? I mean, you're designing plays to go.
Yeah, I definitely, and he would definitely dictate coverage. You know what I'm saying? So there's pluses and minuses to everything in terms of if you have a guy or not. Because, but I love the group. I think they worked their tail off. I do think there's a lot more out there for them. We got to be more consistent. We got to make sure when given those opportunities, we come down with that football.
All right, Homer, I want you to translate that for me because, and you didn't hear me say this, but when at the point where he says, I know you wanted a better answer, I said, yes, I do. And it got better on the follow-up. But to me, that sounded like someone who doesn't want to come out and say, yeah, I would have liked to have seen someone elevate their game this year, and our group did not elevate as much as I wanted it to. How did you take his response?
Isn't that what he said at the end? He said they can't drop as many. Wasn't that his last?
Yeah, that.
But here's the general problem. He can't answer your question, and I need to help Matt LaFleur. Ask me the question. I'll be LaFleur about the wide receiver, whatever you want to say.
Matt,
I love when we
Yes?
play this game.
I do.
Yeah, you're my favorite reporter, by the way.
Thanks, Matt. Do you use Botox?
Yes.
No,
I have.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
But he is well groomed. Matt, you look at the history of this offense. There's been a lot of homegrown number one wide receivers. There's always been a line of succession, and now you haven't had that ever since Devontae left. Do you need one of the guys you have to elevate their game to a point where they are the go-to guy who dictates coverage, who's the number one option on a larger percentage of your pass plays? Do you need someone to take on that role?
Now, what I need, what was your name again? Jason?
Steve.
What I need, Jason, is an understanding from you that I don't make that decision. Goody makes that decision, and I'm very comfortable with the wide receivers he gives us. So what I want or how I view things is irrelevant. And so now, I like who we have, and I'm very comfortable that Goody will continue to give me a great selection of wide receivers. And, of course, I would like Davante Adams. Every team would like Davante Adams. Who's the receiver with who's the best receiver with the Bears? I can't remember their coach or their players.
You're taking a shot at Ben Johnson
very
there,
good.
Matt. Nice.
No, and so
DJ
so
Moore.
to answer your
Rome
question,
Odunze.
yeah, everybody would love to have him on their team, but I don't make that decision. But it's important that you understand that I like the group that we have, and am comfortable that if Goody feels certain things will be done. Now, the history, you know better than me, the history is that the Packers have not generally given up on draft choices for a player really in any position generally. And so if that's the way it continues, that's fine. But you're asking me, you might as well ask me how I think of the plumbing. Do we need better pipes? I don't make that decision, but I'm very comfortable with the plumber that we have.
Right, but all right. Can you go back to being Homer now for a second?
That's exactly what I would say.
I understand.
Goody doesn't tend to do that. Davante Adams could be different because there's a connection there, but they don't make trades and give up number one draft choices. They've added a couple people through free agency because it costs them nothing. Now, before I continue, is my understanding of the history accurate?
So I am not advocating with that question, and you'll hear my question to Goody next. We'll do that in the next segment because this is a piece that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I also have about 2/3 written a story where, and we talked about this yesterday, that Goody talking about the idea that he's very reluctant to give up a premium draft pick for an existing player because not only are you giving up the draft capital, you're also taking on a much larger salary than the rookie contracts. That is,
I don't think he's ever done it, has he?
No, he has not. And
okay,
so,
well, then I'm assuming he won't do it again.
Well, like if you saw the 33rd team put together
I don't
care
what the 33rd team says.
Just wait a minute. I understand. Jumping off point, Homer. Hold on.
All right. Okay.
A proposed trade if the Packers wanted to acquire Max Crosby. If they go out and they make a trade for Max Crosby, who, by the way, makes some sense because both Keyshawn Nixon and Josh Jacobs played with him in Vegas, and Josh Jacobs has said he is going to be recruiting people, and that is something that I think he is serious about. And I think Max Crosby would like to play for a winner. The price tag, maybe it's enough to get Goody to do something that he has not done previously. But I think it's going to take a very specific player at a specific position to do that. Now, the Davante Adams piece.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you may.
To that?
Of course you may.
You have no foundation to believe that. None.
Why? The fact that he might be willing to do something he hasn't done before? Yeah, you're right. I have no foundation because he's never done it.
Fine. Just as long as people are aware of that as part of the discussion.
Now, Davante Adams.
Never done it. How long has he been the GM now?
This will be year 8 that he's entering.
Yes, and never done this. Okay,
he has not. No, but never say never.
How many times? No, I mean that's the best way to bet, as Lou Holtz would say. On the other hand, we have seen many acquisitions of free agents because there's no cost there. Correct? How many of those moves has he made? 10.
7 maybe.
Okay.
Right?
Last year would be a perfect example.
And some of them have been really good, and some of them have been the
Right.
Jimmy Graham signing, etc. But
So if you had to guess which direction he would go in this offseason, which direction would you
unless
go,
Max
Jason?
Crosby's going to be flat out released, which I don't think Pete Carroll, the new coach of the Raiders, is interested in doing, and maybe Max Crosby with Pete Carroll will have no interest in being traded. By the way, all I'm saying is that it's possible that there is a specific player with a specific position that he might be willing to do something he hasn't done before. Davante Adams, I think he's hoping will be released. Because I don't think he wants to even give up a low, like a 4th or 5th round pick to
And
get.
that would fit with his belief.
Correct. That was where I was trying to get as you continued to ask me questions. All right, I want you to hear what Goody said to the same thing and do your translating on that. Coming up next, we want to get ready for Rob Demovsky as well. That's all still ahead. Steve the Homer True is in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson to tell you about Madison Weight Loss, the program that I experienced from the middle of August to the middle of October, 60 days last year, and I was able to drop 40 pounds of unnecessary, unwanted fat simply by changing my diet. No intense workout regimen, no surgeries, no injections, the healthy, natural approach to weight loss, just changing what I eat and dropping 40 pounds. My wife Becca and I have now scheduled a cruise. We're leaving next week. We're going to be feeling good. We're going to be living good next week. And it's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss. I'm picking out the clothes, packing up last night. There's button-down shirts I haven't worn in years since we last went on a tropical vacation. It was 6 years ago. And it's thanks to Madison Weight Loss that I'm back fitting in them and I'm feeling great. Check it out, MadisonWeightLoss.com. Schedule a free consultation in person or virtual to see how they can help you achieve your weight loss goals. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Madison Weight Loss. Results may vary.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
If his accuracy doesn't improve, if his consistency doesn't improve, and if Matt LaFleur doesn't figure out a way to get the play-action game going again, then it's going to be a struggle in the coming years.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Hallman Lindsay Paints, Coors Light, Made to Chill, and American Family Insurance.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Just announced 0.99% APR for 60 months on select new 2024 Audis. Eligible models include the Q4 e-trons, Q4 e-tron Sportbacks, and the Q8 e-trons. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $1,667 per $1,000 finance. All offers require qualified credit through Audi Financial Services. Offer ends February 3rd, 2025. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com and see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. The holiday season may be over, but that means Valentine's Day is approaching. It doesn't matter the occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, or if you're in the doghouse, or if you want to stay out of it, I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience. where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. To let it get away on the road.
Continuing with Steve the Homer True as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, let's hear what Goody had to say about this number one wide receiver nonsense. In another lengthy question by a certain Packers beat writer, here is that exchange from last week.
Goody, how do you kind of view that concept just from 30,000 feet, right? Because I said this to Matt LaFleur, not Schneidman, yesterday or the other day, that you look back on the history, and you've been here as long as me, like it's Sharp, it's Brooks, it's Freeman, it's Driver, it's like and they're all homegrown guys that eventually became your ones. Would you prefer to see someone, again, I know you want to have a lot of guys involved, but would you like to see someone elevate to be him?
I think I'd like them all to elevate. I mean, the best one I was around was when, I think was when, kind of in that 9-10 stage where, Donald was still here, but I don't, Greg was probably, if you had to say there was one, but I don't even know if you would say that. There were so many good players. There were some emerging guys, like Jordy was emerging, and James, I know the term number one receiver gets thrown around a lot, and I think that just depends on how you do what that means to you. What I'd like to get is I'd like our football team to get to a point where we can win in situational football better than we have right now. And I think for us to do that group's going to have to take some steps, and I think they will. I think they're on the right track. Again, we're dealing with some injury stuff that these guys are going to have to get through before next season, but they are on the right track.
All right, Homer, what do you make of that?
Exactly what I've said. That group has to take some steps. He believes in who he drafted. He's counting on them.
Yeah,
That's it.
He's not signing T. Higgins. He may draft a guy.
Yeah.
But I thought that both he and LaFleur, to your point, basically made it clear that if there is going to be someone who is going to take on that, in his mind anyway, imaginary role of number one wide receiver, it's going to come from within. But the idea that, like in 9 and 10, that there wasn't any true number one wide receiver, I would respectfully disagree with him on that. I think it was pretty clear in 9 and 10 that Greg Jennings was their number one wide receiver. Driver was the passing. 09 was kind of the passing of the torch. Just like there was from Jordy to Devontae in 17, just as there was from Jennings to Jordy, I think, in 2012. The passing of the torch happened in 09 from Driver to Jennings. And then in 10, when they go and win the Super Bowl, Greg Jennings catches 76 passes for 1,265 yards and 12 touchdowns. After that, it's Driver with 51, James Jones with 50, Jordy Nelson with 45. Greg Jennings is your number one wide receiver. There's no debating that. Now, you look at this year's numbers, and once again, Jaden Reed led them in receptions with 55. Followed by Tucker Kraft with 50, Romeo Doubs with 46, Dontavion Wicks with 39, Christian Watson with 29. There's no lead dog in that group. And I don't think that they got to have a sense of urgency that they haven't had.
Yeah. That's it. They got to get it.
That is what he said.
Yeah.
So again, I understand no one wants to hurt guys' feelings, and they want this kind of these shiny, happy people that are all happy with their roles. But let's also be honest here. Romeo Doubs was unhappy with his role early. He stayed home from work. Christian Watson wasn't happy with his role and the limited targets he was getting, but he was a pro and a leader and didn't mope around or complain to the media or stay home from work.
Yeah,
Jaden,
well, hold on. You have to add that Christian Watson is a special person that they like, and that if he was healthy, he'd be the number one. The one they would hope to be the number one and they think could be the number one.
I would agree with both those statements, but to turn your words back on you, as you did to me with Goody, he has not shown that he can be that person.
Yeah, he has, just not often enough. He has certainly shown that he can be that person.
Just not
often
for
enough.
not for longer.
Come on, he
than
averaged 30-some yards a carry or catch for like 4 or 5 games.
Not for longer than a 3 or 4 game stretch his first year. So I'm curious to see what Rob Demovsky has to say about this. He did a piece early in the year. I was there when we were talking to Jaden Reed about it. You know, he talked to people around the league who thought Jaden Reed could be a 100-catch guy. He ended up being a 55-catch guy and ended up being a guy who was also frustrated with his lack of contributions down the stretch of the season. So now we're talking about
the most
three of those
disappointing
guys.
player on the team this year for me.
Okay, that's a strong statement. We'll see what Rob Demovsky thinks. The star of ESPN NFL Nation joins us next. After I remind you, it is the last weekend of the Steinhafels football scratch-off sale. Grab a scratch-off card in-store for your shot at an extra 3 or 5% off your purchases of sofas, bedrooms, dining, and so much more. Transforming your space into something amazing has never been more affordable with Steinhafels' 18-month, 0% financing. Now, don't wait. Get in today. Save big. Shop the football scratch-off sale in-store and online at steinhafels.com. The great Rob Demovsky with the Redbirds with a big showdown tonight, I think with Notre Dame. I heard it's a sellout. He'll talk Packers and maybe a little high school basketball. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Start the new year saving money and helping to save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Mark Tauscher here, and whether you want some extra spending cash to buy a new jersey, tickets to a big upcoming game on the road, or anything else you may be thinking, you can find some extra cash in your pocket when you start saving money with the switch to Everlight Solar. Our family, we were looking to make the switch to solar for quite some time, but we weren't quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
Welcome.
The 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Mark your calendars. Professional volleyball is coming to Madison with First Serve on January 17th. Led by Madison's newest pro team, Love Madison Volleyball. Get ready for nonstop action as some of the world's best players take the court. Featuring Olympic medalists Lauren Carlini and Annie Drew Schumacher, Love Madison is ready to compete for the season's first championship title. Get your tickets now for this historic first season. Visit lovb.com today. Volleyball is the next major league.
Attention Wisconsin Badgers volleyball fans. Join head coach Kelly Sheffield, Love Madison star Sarah Franklin, and ESPN Madison Tuesday evening at North and South Seafood and Smokehouse in Verona for a special Wisconsin volleyball celebration. Starting at 6 o'clock, announcer John Audius leads a Q&A, followed by opportunities for pictures and autographs with Sarah Franklin and Kelly Sheffield. It all starts with Jim, Matt, and Molly broadcasting live from 4 to 6. Celebrate Wisconsin volleyball Tuesday night at North and South Seafood and Smokehouse in Verona with Sarah Franklin, Kelly Sheffield, and ESPN Madison.
It's New Year, new deals at Metro Ford of Madison. With 204 new vehicles in stock, Metro Ford is your home for the best selection and the biggest savings of 2025. Enjoy the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, $15.97 per thousand borrowed. Or get the future of driving with the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 72 months. But hurry, these deals end February 3rd. Visit Metro Ford in person or online at metrofordofmadison.com and drive off in the new Ford of your dreams today.
Hey, it's Bobby Portis, and I love playing basketball in Milwaukee. When I drive down the lane, I move fast and make sudden moves to drive to the hoop and score. But when I'm behind the wheel in the driving lane, I control my drive. I don't speed or make sudden movements. Speeding and reckless driving are the leading causes of traffic injuries and deaths in Wisconsin. Do what I do. Control your drive. Don't speed. Don't be reckless. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Wisconsin DOT.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Joining us now, it's game day in his house. Big one for the Redbirds tonight. It is our friend Rob Demovsky on Wilde and Tausch. Rob, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. They're all big games, Jason. You know that.
That's what Matt LaFleur has taught us. Yes. Hey, speaking of Matt LaFleur, I don't know if you tuned in early, being the professional that you are, but we've spent some time on this number one wide receiver discussion only because, well, good. I'm glad this is why you're the best in the business. And you're a little bit closer to the camera today, so your head is not fitting into the archway of your door.
I did that on purpose.
I know you did. Oh, I know you did.
Looks great.
So how did you view Goody's answers and LaFleur's answers? Because as I referenced and as you heard, I remember standing in the locker room in training camp talking to Jaden Reed, and you were working on your story about these scouts that had said this guy could be a 100-catch guy. He ends up being a 55-catch guy. He ends up being one of three different wide receivers who were varying degrees of frustrated with their roles. So how do you view the wide receiver picture and the need or lack thereof of a number one guy?
Yeah, that's a deep question there. I did hear Homer pretending to be Matt LaFleur. At least I think that's what the bit was. But the
we do bits, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like bits. Like Goody's answer about how teams that have historically relied on one receiver haven't done very well in the playoffs. Like anecdotally, that sounds great. I don't know if that's true or not, but that tells me he's not signing T. Higgins or whoever. Remember back, I think we were talking to Jason Vrabel, the passing game coordinator, about this in training camp, and he said, "Here's how we'll find a number one receiver. At some point, one of these guys is going to get a contract extension, and that will be our number one receiver. So it's up to them to decide who they want to pay. And at this point, I'm still not sure which one that is."
Homer, you think that it's Christian Watson if healthy. Is that a fair depiction of your position?
Yep, that's my position. He's
Rob,
been a number
yeah,
one. You ask defensive coordinators, they address him as a concern more than any other receiver on the Packers team. And that's the standard by which we should all judge what someone is.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right, Homer. The only problem with Christian Watson is he's not a volume guy. And now he's hurt, so we won't really see him till, probably November at the earliest. And now the one thing that I think this injury certainly did not do any good for anybody, right? But let's take a silver lining approach here. From the Packers standpoint, it almost delays their decision on whether they have to pay him big money, because what will most likely happen is, let's say he comes back in mid-November, plays 6 games, does, fair to Midland, isn't unbelievably dominant. They can do a short-term 1-year extension the following year, assuming he's amiable to do it. And then they sort of buy their time with making the big Christian Watson decision until after the 2026 season. Yeah.
So
that's exactly what they will do, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And look, they did that with Robert Tonyan, and then Robert Tonyan fell off the face of the earth, right?
Correct.
He had the ACL. They got him back on a bargain, and then it just didn't go anywhere. In his absence, then, because look, as I said it in my questions, this is something that we have been asking about for 2+ years, right? And because they didn't have the next successor. No offense to Jesse's favorite player, Alan Lazard, but he was the number 1 wide receiver in 2022 in name only.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, does Jayden Reed – how do you view Jayden Reed's season? Because I was with you that day, and I was with you on the idea behind your story about his varied skill set. He was like Cobb in 14. That's what I thought he was going to be, and that did not happen.
Right. And what did Cobb catch that year? 90. Was that the year?
91?
90,
something like that.
I still think Jayden Reed's their most versatile, dynamic guy. And I think people around the league view it that way. But like to Homer's point, he's not the guy that you have to, concentrate on with your, game plan in terms of this can't happen, right? Like you can't let Christian Watson get over the top. But which is why it's hard for a slot receiver to necessarily be the threat. That doesn't mean he can't be the number 1 target. But, I think you look at all the quarterback numbers this year, Jason, for the Packers, I think the numbers themselves are out the window because of, the injury to Love, how different they played with Willis. And, nobody's numbers were going to be, what they wanted or should be. Just based on the way that part of the season went. Now, we've spent so much time talking about their offense, but think about this. I was looking at this earlier today. The Packers had how many games in a row where they scored 30-plus points? Was it 4 games in a row?
Five, yeah.
Do you know how many games the Kansas City Chiefs have gone without scoring 30 points in a game?
20.
28 games. They have not scored 30 points. November 26, 2003 is the last 2023, sorry. November 16th,
that would be even longer.
2023 was the last time they scored 30 or more points. I mean, you don't necessarily have to win that way.
So I'm glad you bring that up because we had this. I listened to the Chiefs game on our drive back from Eau Claire. Which, by the way, sparkling basketball facility. I can't wait to go see a game there when your offspring plays there. But what I heard from, I think it was Ross Tucker who was doing the game with Kevin Harlan on Westwood One. And what struck me, they were both talking about how the Texans were making mistakes and turning the ball over. And then I watched the other games last weekend. The Packers, how many times did you hear Packers players say, well, I don't really feel like they beat us. I feel like we beat ourselves. Guess what the Kansas City Chiefs don't do? They don't beat themselves.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I had a really
Can I
nice
interject something here? And
No.
Rob, you addressed it to. I'm going to anyway.
Okay, then why'd you ask?
Because to make the point, the reason Kansas City is winning with an offense like that, the last 2 years – their defense has been dominant. The last 2 years on the season, regular season, their offense is like 15th or 12th in scoring, and their defense is first or second. While Mahomes gets all the attention, they are winning because their defense has been significantly better. And Rob's point is exactly that. And the hope of the Packers is the same, that as they did in 2009 when they were good in the top 10, they got even better in 10, and their only hope to do better next year is for the defense to get better, as has occurred the last 2 years in Kansas City from nowhere. The first Super Bowl they won in this streak of 2, they were 16th in defense and first in offense. They switched totally last year and have remained a defensive dominant team. I'm done.
You've made that argument with Tausch before. You guys got into a very heated debate last year over it, but I think you're right. Rob?
Well, and the point to Homer, what I would love to know, Homer, and I just tried to find it real quick on our stats database, but it's too hard to do quickly, is the pass rush, right? Like, how much of that is pass rush with the Chiefs? I'm assuming they're really high in quarterback pressures and putting quarterbacks under duress. And that's the one thing that this Packers defense didn't do. It did a lot this last year, right? Like, it took the ball away, was pretty good against the run. But from a consistent standpoint, it didn't have the pass rush that was necessary to be that type of defense. And to me, obviously, look, they made the change on the defensive line coaching staff. Are going to have a new defensive line coach there at some point soon. And that's the thing. Like, that's the next step for this defense.
Points given up, they were 6th, the Packers, which is the best since 2010. The best in 15 years in points given up.
And just in third downs, they were looks like they were about 12th or 13th in third down. So decent, but not great. You have to get pass rush in order to be a great defense. And I mean, again, I don't have Kansas City's pressure numbers in front of me, but you got to get pass rush, and that makes up for their inability, or whatever you want to call it, that they haven't scored 30 points in 28 games.
Rob, where do you view Jordan Love today, and how do you view his season?
Yeah, I mean, I think his season was a little bit of a slight step backwards from his rookie year. I still think he has all the skills and tools to be a top 10 quarterback in this league. Without going through it right now, he might still be. He might have been a top 10 quarterback in the league. But he's not. He wasn't a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league like he was the last half of last season. But I don't think there's any reason to think, oh man, like after 2025 we're in trouble, we need a new quarterback. I don't think they're in that situation at all.
Is he going? And again, I understand that this is conjecture. You don't know this. I don't know this. We don't have crystal balls. But the way we were talking about him at the end of last season, right? I mean, the interception he throws late over the middle across his body into triple coverage was so jarring. Was not just because they lost the game because of it, but because it was so out of character for how he had played to that point, right?
Yeah,
so
fair.
When you say he is or could be a top 10 quarterback, I think what he did was elevate the expectation with that 8, 9, 10 game stretch that he was going to be a top 3, top 4 quarterback. Do you still believe he can be that, or does he have a lot of work to do to become that guy?
I think the answer to both those questions is yes. I think he can be that, and I think he's got to get back to being more diligent about footwork and fundamentals and decision making. But that's hard to do when you have a lower body injury or he really had 2 lower body injuries.
Can I ask a question? It's hard when your head coach, offensive coordinator, did a terrible job putting together an offense and plays with receivers open, even though you had a great running back. To me, it is way more on the floor than it is on Jordan Love this past season. But I will accept disagreement as Jason does all the time.
And
I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, to your point, Homer. This was the 6th year of the Matt LaFleur offense, right? If you don't change, and he'll admit this, if you don't change in this league, you're dead, right? Like
adapt or die.
This is a critical off season for them to, I'm not saying they need to reinvent their offense, but to reimagine some things in terms of schemes, and like defenses catch up. And if you just say, all right, I'm going to take the folder from this game last year, tear off the date and relabel it, and that's going to be the game plan for next year when we play the Lions or the Vikings or whoever, like that doesn't work. And I'm not saying that's how they do it, but I'm saying that to make a point that, at some point, these things are cyclical with offensive schemes, defensive styles of play, and, people catch up to it. And, that's where it's incumbent upon this coaching staff to, sort of figure out what the next evolution of this offense is, because I would think, to Homer's point, it wasn't like there were guys running free. And I think you asked that even, Jason, in one of the questions.
I did.
Toward the end of the year, like years past, the guys were just schemed open, and we just didn't see that this year.
So you agreed with that premise. I wasn't off base with that.
No, I agree with the premise.
All right, so, because when I heard him say guys have to win their one-on-ones, you and I both love Mike McCarthy, but that's what Mike McCarthy used to say, and that's how his offense
felt like
worked.
I was back in 2017 or 2018 with that, and the same thing with Mike's offense. Like I guarantee you, if you looked at what the Cowboys did last year, not this year, but the previous year, 2023, with Dak Prescott when Mike took over the play calling, I guarantee you it was a different looking offense than what Mike had run before. I mean, that offense 2 years ago for the Cowboys was off the charts successful until obviously the playoff game against the Packers. So you have to evolve, is my point.
You are right about that. Talking with Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com. All right, a couple more things before we let you go and get ready for game day. We have seen, I think they've interviewed 3 defensive line candidates. Casey Rodgers is now out of the mix. He has gone to Detroit. They have other options, I suppose. Where do you think things stand there? And then Tausch is pushing, just because he knows that I'm not a huge fan of this guy since he big-timed us, pushing for Dan Orlovsky as the new quarterback's coach. Do you anticipate that as an ESPN employee to occur as well?
I do not. I think in some form or fashion, Luke Getsy will be on the staff full-time, whether that's as quarterback's coach or whether, Connor Lewis or Sean Mannion becomes quarterback's coach and Luke Getsy has a different role. I do think that as great as Tom Clements is and was, it might not be the worst thing in the world for Jordan to have a new voice, new things to work on. Certainly Tom's influence is huge, and Tom is arguably one of the best quarterbacks coaches of all time. But I think it goes back to what we're talking about, about having new ideas and new voices. I do think that there'll be some form of that will make up the quarterback / offensive room. Defensive line, that's tough because, this is such a new system, and, we don't really know a ton about, who Jeff Hafley, has worked with and who he likes. And it wouldn't surprise me if, and I don't know, is it Vince Ogabasi, the VO they call him, the defensive line assistant? Yep. It wouldn't surprise me if they gave him that job. Look, I'm not saying that Anthony Campanelli should move positions, but if he could do with the defensive line what he did with the linebackers, man, that would be, he seems like a really, really good position coach. Maybe he's just a good linebackers coach. I don't know, but from position, it's hard. It's always really hard to judge, what position coaches do and if they're really good at it. But the way those inside linebackers played this year, you'd have to think he's a pretty darn good position coach. And could he have the same impact on the defensive line? I mean, the line in this defense, it's sort of they're connected, right? The linebackers and the D line. You just wonder if there's some overarching. Was it overarching? Overarching.
No,
right?
I like overarching. I'm with you on that.
They aren't very good, and it's not on the damn coach.
Oh, he didn't even bother to ask if he could chime in there. He just did.
I did not.
Do you agree with that?
When did these coaches become so important? I've heard of maybe an offensive line coach is important. Do you think throughout the season, Rob, you're watching the defensive line going, man, we got a coach problem here? No, they're not good enough.
Rashawn
So you're saying they
Gary,
didn't-
Kenny Clark.
Yeah, you're saying they didn't draft good enough or sign good enough players?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
I
Homer?
don't think, I defer to you. At any point in the last couple of years, have you said to anybody, I think the problem here is their line coach, defensive line coach, isn't very good. That ever enter your mind?
Yeah, yes, it did.
Okay, all right.
It did.
I don't remember you saying it, but that's good enough for me if it entered your mind.
It's a great
I
day to
think
be
I
a
say
Redbird.
it. I think we say it every time we talk to these guys at the podium. I think you say whether these guys we think they're any good or not.
Okay.
All right, but before we go, last two things. One, you're a very likable guy. That's what Hogue and Madsen tell me all the time.
I agree with that.
No, I do too. We've been friends for a long time. You're friends with Todd Archer. You're friends with Courtney Cronin, our late great friend Jeff Dickerson.
Can I say something about Courtney Cronin or not? Should I pass on that?
You may not.
Damn.
So turn off his mic.
That's a good preemptive step in there because who knows where that was.
This is not my first rodeo. If you teased Courtney Cronin, who is your friend who covers the Bears, it would be you guys are friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of Ben Johnson and the shot he took at Matt LaFleur? Homer thinks it was actually respect because he thinks Matt LaFleur is such a good coach. But I can't get over the fact that he said that about someone he has no connectivity to whatsoever. Came off as douchey to me. Agree or disagree?
I think he was pandering to the lowest common denominator. In what was it? What year was it that Lovie Smith stood up there and said our number one goal is to beat Green Bay? Look, that's a guy who, I don't have an issue with it just because, he's embracing the rivalry in his new job. So you know what?
Yeah.
It was a little bit like whoa, where did that come from? Kind of a thing, but.
It was
whatever.
The reason it surprised me is because it was personal, and he named the coach. He didn't talk about the organization or the team.
That was, yeah.
And I told the story yesterday for those that don't listen every day. I asked Lovie Smith about that at an NFL meeting subsequently in the early mid 2000s, and he said, "Look, the Packers were the big dog on the block. We had to knock them off to win the division. If we win the division, we're in the playoffs. We've got a home game. Then we try to. It's like Mike McCarthy used to talk about, right? Then you try to get the bye. Then you try to get the number one seed. So when he said that, yeah, it was red meat for the fan base, but there was also a thought behind it. I didn't get the sense that what Ben Johnson delivered was anything other than an awkward, rehearsed, not very funny line.
I would agree. I would agree with that. But I also don't think it's that big of a deal.
I would agree. It just was weird is where I stand. All right, give us the breakdown. Who do the Redbirds have tonight? Who does St. Lawrence have coming up? St. Lawrence. Who does Lawrence have coming up? I'm better than that. What do you got on the schedule?
There is a St. Lawrence, though. There is a St. Lawrence out east.
I know. Yeah, I should know. But I knew better than that.
So Notre Dame at home tonight for the Redbirds. It's the second sellout of the year. Notre Dame has one loss in the conference. We have 0. And then tomorrow morning, bright and early, I'll be hopping in the car to go to Monmouth, Illinois. Now, if you can tell me Monmouth College's nickname without looking it up, I'd be really impressed. But the Lawrence Vikings will be taking on the Monmouth.
Homer?
I have no idea.
Catamounts.
Scots.
No, that's...
The Scots. S-C-O. I don't know if it's a Scottish origin, but the Monmouth Scots. So,
all right, well,
when we had them at Alexander Gym a couple weeks ago, had a 10-point lead in the second half and blew it and lost. So,
are the Scots good?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
All right, well, good luck tonight. I will be at a Schwaben girls game. It's we're celebrating the youth programs tonight, so we'll be there. Bring home a W for the Redbirds, and of course one tomorrow for the Vikings.
Youth night that's the best, man. When they have all the little kids, come out and you see that's just such a cool thing,
when
when
tip
my
time
kids
is
did
delayed for 20 minutes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true play-by-play guy.
When my kids, did that in the youth program, and then now, my last one's in his last year of varsity basketball. It's like, man, where did the time go?
Yeah, amen to
Running
that.
around the gym, tripping over cords, taking you off the air. That's the best.
You're bitter. I love it, Jesse. Love it.
Rob, we appreciate you. Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll be seeing you.
That is our friend Rob Demovsky. Read him at ESPN.com and ESPNWisconsin.com. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
It's Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison. Who wants to win some free pizza and wings from Pizza Hut? Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Try their original stuffed crust pizza and wings bundle. You wanted the best of both worlds? This is it. Get a large original stuffed crust, 16 wings, and 2 dips right now for only $19.99. What a deal. Head to pizzahut.com or the select Pizza Hut locations around the greater Madison area to enjoy your own Free Food Friday. Right now, your chance to win 2 free large pizzas and 2 free orders of wings at select Pizza Hut locations. Caller number 5 right now at 844-770-3776. Caller number 5 right now, 844-770-3776 wins free pizza and wings at select Pizza Hut locations. Caller 5, 844-770-3776. Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison, brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhafels. Get a new Tempur-Pedic mattress for just $52 per month with Steinhafels 60-month financing. Plus, you get $300 in Steinhafels cash only at Steinhafels. The Xavier Lucas transfer drama making its way to Monday's Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez. Coach calling for the powers that be to step in to resolve the big picture issue.
Sooner or later, you'd like for the NC2A or someone to put their arms around it and have restrictions and guidelines that people have to follow. And if you don't follow them, you're going to be reprimanded. You're going to be dealt with. It's the Wild West right now. I just don't like it. I'm glad I'm not involved in it.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
College Basketball Saturday on ESPN Radio. It's a showdown in the Big Ten. The 8th-ranked Michigan State Spartans storm into Madison Square Garden to face the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Robin Hood.
Man, it is fun to have Homer and Rob Demovsky at once. That was a blast. Appreciate those guys.
I do want to talk about the defensive line coach.
Well, let's talk about that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour. Do you believe in the importance of coaching?
To some degree, but in this particular case, I mean, as I asked Rob, I asked you, I don't remember hearing anybody say, these guys are good, the defensive line coach sucks. He's the problem. Generally, I think it's, other than it seems to be offensive line, there seems to be discussion on that. But you have coordinators. I believe that I could be a position coach at any position. Give me a couple months to learn it, and let's roll.
We will have that conversation because here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Are we willing to admit that Kenny Clark, who is a favorite on this show, but again, we are always... Tausch will tell you, it doesn't matter how much we like someone. It's our job to call him like we see him. And he was not very good this year. He was certainly not the dominating player that he had been previously in a new system. Are we ready to say that he's on the downslide? Are we willing to say that Rashawn Gary, who we thought was on the precipice of being an elite pass rusher, isn't that good? Are we willing to say that Lucas Van Ness, after 2 seasons, was not a very good pick? Because if we're saying that coaching doesn't really have much say in how good that group was, and we're saying it's the guys that weren't good enough, then what are they going to do with that position this offseason, and what does it say about high draft picks, 2 guys who got paid big contracts in the last 18 months? What does it say about them? We'll talk about that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour with Steve the Homer True in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs. We believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tausch here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have a both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Of course, there's no Green Bay Packers game this weekend, but it is conference championship weekend, and the team that eliminated the Packers from the postseason plays host to the NFC Championship game Sunday afternoon. The number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles host the 6th seed Jaden Daniels, and the Washington Commanders. Kickoff for that game is set for 2 o'clock, followed by at 5:30 on Sunday, number 2 seed Buffalo Bills visiting the number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs. Couple of fun games this weekend. Plenty to talk about. Getting you set for the football weekend all day long right here on 100.5 ESPN, including more Wilde and Tausch with Homer in as the cousin sub of the day, taking you up until noon. Speaking of Homer, he's the voice of Marquette men's basketball. The 10th-ranked Golden Eagles in action tonight at Fiserv Forum, playing host to Villanova. Tip time set for 6 o'clock on our sister station, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. 18th-ranked Wisconsin men's basketball hosts Connor Essegian and the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Sunday afternoon. Tip time set for noon. Bucks West Coast road trip starts tomorrow in LA against
Metro
the Clippers.
Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
I'm not giving up.
Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins where Homer wanted to begin, or where we ended the 10 o'clock hour. Thanks again to Rob Demovsky. Always great to catch up with him and giving us lots of jumping off points. All right, Homer, are you saying, you did say, you aren't saying it, you said it, that the guys aren't good enough up front? When you invest the way they invested, both with high draft capital, those three guys I mentioned, Kenny Clark in 16, Rashawn Gary in 19, Lucas Van Ness in 23, all first-round picks. Kenny Clark, third contract, $70 million extension, $37 million in first 2 years pay. Rashawn Gary, $84 million, $96 million, some very large number in October of 2023. Are you telling me that you don't think those guys are good enough? And if so, what are you going to do about it if you're Goody?
No, I'm just questioning the issue of the defensive line coach in terms of the importance of it, given that I don't remember anybody at any point saying, this defensive line coach is a problem. Now, I don't know what Hafley could or couldn't have done when he took over, but so it seems to me he's a scapegoat. We all know the answer to your question. There's been a disappointment there. On the other hand, the defense did. I think they finished 8th or 9th in points given up. 8th. So
they finished
defense.
They finished 6th in scoring defense.
Yes, that's right.
6th in scoring defense, 5th in total defense.
Yeah, 8th in offense. So yes, my point is, so they did pretty well. So
sure.
Well, let me push
back
group,
on you.
I will defer to you.
So let me push back on you just in terms of this. Maybe Jason Rebrovich, who was look, they were pretty good in the last year of Joe Barry's system. Maybe it was just it's not Jason Rebrovich is a bad coach or he didn't coach them well enough. Maybe they just need someone who is a 4-3 defensive line coach, not a 3-4 defensive line coach / outside. I mean, Jason Rebrovich is 3 years on staff. Outside linebackers coach in 2022 under Joe Barry in a 3-4. Pass rush specialist, which I'm not even sure exactly what that meant. I think it was still just outside linebackers.
It means we have too many coaches, so we got to come up with names.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what his job was in 23 under Barry. And then they switched to a 4-3, and the argument that I heard from multiple people in the building, and frankly even from Jeff Hafley to some degree, is that the transition from 3-4 to 4-3 and to a more aggressive get-up-the-field approach that, as your favorite doctor of football, Brian Bulaga, liked to say, playing the run on the way to the quarterback, that maybe he just didn't teach it because it wasn't subject matter like that he was as effective at.
Fine,
maybe
then why
that's
would
why
you
they made the
have?
change.
Well, fine, then you would have changed before the season started.
Well, maybe he liked Jason Rebrovich and thought he could adjust, and then the adjustment didn't happen the way he wanted it to, right?
Okay.
Like maybe you're thinking, hey, this guy's a good coach. I want him on my staff. The guys seem to like him. He seems to have connectivity with Rashawn Gary. I'm going to keep him on, and then after they're not as productive, you say, well, we need to get somebody who knows. I'll give you a great example. So Matt LaFleur takes over in 19, and there was no assistant coach from Mike McCarthy's staff better, well-respected than James Campen, who now is back working in a scouting capacity, and who Matt LaFleur really liked personally. And then
offensive line coach.
Right, offensive line coach, and Matt LaFleur wanting to do the outside zone scheme of the Kyle Shanahan system, basically told Campy, hey, man, you're a great coach. I just want a guy who runs this scheme. And he hired Adam Stenovich away from the 49ers to install that scheme. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think that James Campen is a good enough football coach that he could have done that too? I do. I am also biased. He's one of my favorite coaches. But what I'm saying is maybe it's not the guy, maybe it's the system. And they need somebody who's better in a Hafley, Robert Saleh style system. Is that a fair position for me to hold?
Sure. My position is the importance of that in terms of the defense and the pass rush. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the defensive line coach on, if you're looking at the pass rush, for the defensive line? And I say 2, 2.5. Maybe your number's different. I never heard of the guy. I don't think anybody else. No one knew who he was. You guys are good reporters. Did you ever mention the defensive line coach at any point this season?
I mean, as a writer, I certainly quoted him frequently enough. But to your point of this guy sucks, they need to make a change?
Well, or not that he sucks, but I think, we're all assessing. We assessed the pass rush issue the entire season, or much of it, right?
Sure.
I don't ever remember any discussion, not once, of, the defensive line coach, we got to, whatever the reason for, not once by anyone. And I'll stand corrected if the Institute will tell me otherwise. That makes me question the importance of the change. Not that it isn't appropriate for all the reasons that you say. And if they do better next year, I'm going to credit the players way more than the defensive line coach. But you may not agree.
So a text from Chauncey, not Billups, I don't think, in Oshkosh. So is the improved defense due to Jeff Hafley or Xavier McKinney? I love questions like this because it's
That's a great question.
It is, and yet, of course, the answer is because of both. But I think this is an instance, and I was just looking up this stat. So obviously, statistically, the Packers' defense was great, but we would all agree, or was very, very good, I would say. They're top 6 in both scoring defense and total defense.
And they were 10th the year before.
But lower in scoring defense.
Scoring, they were 10th.
Yardage, they were like 13th or lower than that even last year.
Never looked at yardage. I don't do yardage.
So here's what's interesting. So from a defensive perspective, the Packers, despite us thinking that their pass rush kind of stunk,
it didn't.
It statistically did not. They finished with 45 sacks. The Broncos led the league with 63. But the Packers were tied for 8th with 45 sacks. They were 10th in the league in a stat that is termed sacks per pass attempt. So a little bit lower than they were in just pure sack numbers, right? But I would add this. What Jeff Hafley did and why Jeff Hafley deserves credit, and I was talking to LaFleur about this before the Eagles game during our conversation that I had with him, what he was great about was adjusting, which is not something that Joe Barry did well. Now, he did not say that part. I'm saying that part. But one of the reasons and one of the keys to being a really good defensive coordinator in today's NFL is you have to be able to adjust really well. And he did. There were some instances where he didn't. There's no doubt about that. But on balance for the year, for instance, as you agreed, or as you stated, the guys up front were not getting home as a 4-man rush, so what did Jeff Hafley do about it? He did something he didn't necessarily want to do defensively, which was run a bunch of simulated pressures or blitz or whatever he did differently. That's not what he wants to be doing up there. He wants to get home with 4 as much as he can, but it wasn't working, so he adjusted. Does Xavier McKinney make Joe Barry a better defensive coordinator if he has Xavier McKinney roaming as the deep safety instead of Darnell Savage? In the words of greatest American orator Mark Tauscher, no blank blank. Of course it does. But do I think that it was more about a system that guys bought into and a coach that could adjust? Because let's be honest, when Xavier McKinney, the next step for him in this defense will be for them to figure out ways to get him more involved. Because just erasing teams from throwing his direction is not enough, right? You can't be Charles Woodson if that's all they're doing is avoiding him. What else can
he do? I don't know that he
They
has
can get him more involved at the line.
skills.
So what Jeff Hafley talked about, and I think this is where Evan Williams comes in a big way. There's a lot of faith and trust in Evan Williams. They love him. And the idea of him being healthy for a whole season, which he was not as a rookie, and him being more experienced, you can now put him in some of the Xavier McKinney roles, and you can use Xavier McKinney in different ways, closer to the line of scrimmage, sending him on blitzes more often, doing other things with him that he did not do this year. So I think that if I'm going percentage-wise, it's probably 65-35, 67-33, in favor of Jeff Hafley as to why the defense was better, but there's no doubt having Xavier McKinney was a huge factor.
Can I add to that question?
No. Why do you can you don't have to ask permission. Stop doing that.
It is very polite when he does it, though.
Right,
It's
and
nice.
but here's the thing: the guy that's normally in that seat never asks for permission.
It's a nice change of pace, really.
Well, I don't every
it's hard
time
to
either.
Adjust to, frankly.
But it's my question that I'm curious for you to answer about the difference in the defense from last year to this year and how much Hafley gets or how good would they have been with Barry. Because you mentioned McKinney, but every bit as important, Cooper, Bullard, and Williams all drafted.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer to would they have been as good with the old defensive coordinator as they were with this one, because if I were the old coordinator, I would say privately to Jason Wilde, just know this. You give me McKinney, Cooper, Bullard, and Williams, and we would have gone from 10th in points to top 4.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. It's a very fair statement.
But I could be wrong because it could be, because it would appear this group defensively that was drafted is the best group Goody's had in a few years, right? By far.
Yeah, I mean, he hit on all three of those guys. There's no
right,
question
and it's
about
Hafley's first year. It could be the problem in the past is the coordinator in terms of the system or whatever and the developing of young players. I would think that we'll find out maybe next year on Van Ness. Or maybe there's a limit to how good even Hafley could be.
Or maybe he is better suited to be an interior guy, and they line him and Devontae Wyatt up inside, and they have Kingsley Enagbare and Rashawn Gary outside, or they have somebody else that they draft with their first-round pick on the outside, and maybe that's their rush group. Maybe that. I mean, remember, Lucas Van Ness did a lot of rushing from inside at Iowa. So
when he played,
but he, a little. I did find it odd that they drafted a guy who never started a game in college. I'm not going to lie. All right, we got more to get to, including some trivia. Jesse, what is today's category, and what caller would you like?
So this is fun, I think. We usually do Wisconsin Geography Wednesday with the conference championship games taking place this weekend between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Conference championship geography. Questions about the 4 cities of the teams that are competing in the conference
championships. But we only got 3
this
questions.
Week. Well, those are the...
Sorry. Is there a 4th question today?
It's going to be fun if you just let it be fun instead of just questioning things that don't make it as fun. Like, this will be fun.
Okay. And what caller would you like, Jesse? Because you want to make it fun.
I don't care. 12.
Still not as good as the printer line, but not bad. Caller 12 right now, 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 12 plays Wilde and Tausch Trivia. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
This is Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. I'm reaching out with a message that's close to my heart. Devastating fires have ravaged the Los Angeles area, leaving families displaced, homes destroyed, and the community in need of help. Right now, you have the power to make a real difference. Your donation, big or small, can provide food, shelter, supplies, and much-needed support for those affected by the fires. If you are able to, please help those affected by the California wildfires and donate at www.lafoodbank.org/fire.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and lease a 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid Sport for as low as $234 per month, or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman Steulers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman Steulers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman Steulers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Jesse says this is going to be fun, so hopefully he's right. Time for trivia. I'm sorry?
You'll be underwhelmed. We know how this works around here.
I don't do anything in trivia, right?
Yeah, no, I got it. You just take the segment off. But if you want to chime in, feel free.
Okay.
You don't even have to ask permission. Getting rave reviews, though. Are you still engaged in the YouTube chat? Because I've been trying to juggle a few things.
Not as much, but I've been enjoying it. I haven't responded as often.
All right, well, you should get back in there now that you've got really no responsibilities.
All right, I will do that.
Done. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Pat in Wales. Pat, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. I'm being told that you played trivia a very long time ago. It's been a while. Where you been?
Well, long-time listener, it's been a while since I called in.
Well, we're happy to have you in Wales, not to be confused with Jonah, since he was also in a whale at one point.
I get it.
Homer loves Christian comedy, yeah. All right, question number 1, Pat, is this.
It was a tough one to swallow.
Hey! In which of these cities is the location Thomas Jefferson penned, wrote, the Declaration of Independence in 1776 found? Jesse, would you agree that the wording here is confusing?
Upon further review, yes. A little confusing, but you get it.
Where did Thomas Jefferson write the Declaration of Independence?
That would have been a better way to ask the question, yes.
Did he write it in Philadelphia? Washington, D.C. or Buffalo? Correctamundo, 1 for 1, Pat. Question 2 on another question that I'm sure is perfectly phrased. Which of these cities is home to a unique style of barbecue defined by its balanced combination of sweet and tangy flavors? Is it Buffalo, Kansas City, or Philadelphia?
Kansas City.
Indeed. Is that vinegary, Jesse?
No, vinegar is the Carolina barbecue. I learned a lot about barbecue sauces looking this up this morning. Texas, there's a Southern Texas, Eastern Texas, Western Texas. They all have different defining characteristics. And then you got Kansas City, Alabama, a lot of barbecue sauces.
Tupelo, Mississippi. Yeah, well, I do enjoy my occasional trips to barbecue joints. All right, question 3, Pat, and a chance for 3 for 3 on the day. The question is this. The Grand Estates of Marjorie Merriweather Post and the International Spy Museum are 2 attractions found in which of these cities? Is it Kansas City, Philadelphia, or Washington, D.C.?
We're going to go D.C.
Indeed! I think the International Spy Museum is kitty corner from, like, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in D.C., if I remember by D.C. Geography correctly. I think there's maybe a Shake Shack right there, too. Pat, great job, man. 3 for 3. You got 4 entries. We'll do the drawing coming up. Hey, welcome back to the show, buddy. We appreciate your loyalty.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that is Wilde and Tausch trivia. Lots of time, Jesse. Do you have enough material for Whoa Nelly, or do I need to stall?
Well, I mean, what's good is that we did skip it earlier this week, so there's definitely plenty to choose from that we have banked.
Okay.
So
all right,
we'll be good.
Well, Homer will continue his conversations in the YouTube chats as a participant, although it's been a while since he participated, so maybe they booted him out of that list. Homer is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. And Whoa Nelly from Jesse is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, which I've loved going way back to when I was a kid participating in the legendary Book It program. And now here's a question. Do you get pizza or do you like wings? Well, at Pizza Hut, there's only one right answer. Both. Introducing Pizza Hut's original stuffed crust and wings bundle. Large one-topping stuffed crust pizza and 16 boneless wings with 2 dips, and it's all for just $19.99. Pizza Hut is home to the original stuffed crust pizza, topped and stuffed with over a half pound of delicious, melty cheese, and Pizza Hut's boneless wings. They are kitchen fried and not oven dried, sauced and tossed to perfection, and delivered hot directly to you. Pizza and wings or wings and pizza? The best deals have both. The unbeatable value of the Stuffed Crust and Wings bundle is perfect to feed the whole crew on game day, family night, or any gathering. Order on the app or order online at pizzahut.com. The Stuffed Crust and Wings bundle, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
What school from the SEC reminds you of good old Wisconsin?
You know what? I'm going to ask Cindy that question.
What'd Cindy say, Coach?
Cindy said Ole Miss because of the strong tailgate tradition they have there.
I like that.
The
Grove. The Grove is the epic tailgating, I heard.
Strong.
That is.
Pretty strong.
I like that.
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Are you frustrated because you can't seem to lose that unwanted weight or keep it off long term? It may not be your fault. Your metabolism might be sabotaging your results. We found that clients on average had a metabolic age 27 years older than their actual age. If that's you, how much harder would it be to lose or maintain your weight? At Madison Weight Loss, our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good. To learn how our clients on average lowered their metabolic age by 17 years, go to MadisonWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson, and yes, you can achieve that New Year's resolution to be healthier and drop unwanted weight. I lost 40 pounds during my 60-day program with Madison Weight Loss. It really works.
Now is the time to end the cycle of weight gain and frustration. You could lose 20 to 30 pounds in 60 days and be empowered with the proven tools to keep it off once and for all. You can do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Start your year off right with incredible new deals at Metro Kia of Madison. It's a new year, and we've got 211 brand new vehicles waiting for you. Drive home a 2025 Kia Sportage with 1.9% APR financing for 60 months, $17.48 per thousand borrowed. And don't forget, qualified buyers get 2 years, no charge maintenance, and 90 days deferred payments on new vehicles. But hurry, these new offers end February 3rd. Reserve your ride at MetroKiaMadison.com and stop in to Metro Kia today.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Monday, we'll react to the conference championship games and look ahead to the Super Bowl. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Before we get to Whoa Nelly, we got to pick a winner for trivia this week. Jesse, I assume the cheese fry helmet of victory is right nearby.
Sure is. Not forgetting this week, which officially makes Wilde and Homer better than Tausch and Thomas last week when we got distracted by bagels.
I think that goes without saying.
Draw the winner. I have our winner in hand. Congratulations to our old friend Sparky in Sussex. This week's trivia winner. You bribe the picker of the winner with a gift around the holidays, and sure enough, it'll work out for you. Congratulations, Sparky.
Thank you, Sparky, for playing. Thanks to everybody who played all week. And thank you to Jesse for delivering an outstanding, or so I expect, Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa!
Nelly on Wilde and Tausch.
So let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks for a moment. Yesterday, they fly back from New Orleans, flight delayed with the snow and ice and treacherous, severe winter weather that the South is not used to dealing with. Their game's postponed against the Pelicans Wednesday. They fly back Thursday afternoon, land in Milwaukee about 2 hours before tip time, and then they put it on the Miami Heat and get a nice win. Doc Rivers saying before the game, probably not the best conditioning to come in without really warming up a whole bunch and just get right to playing a game. A lot of reasons why the Bucks could have looked bad last night. Instead, they win their 5th straight and beat the Heat.
Wait a minute. And that's what you're going to say?
Yeah. What are you going to say?
The Heat are a total mess. Their best player missed the plane. Whatever situation the Bucks dealt with, not a tenth as great as the mess that the Heat are dealing with. Now that's the whole story. Thank you.
Great take, Homer.
He's not wrong.
That's why we do this. Jason,
how you can give a recap of that game and not mention that? That's like giving a recap of the Titanic and leaving out the sinking of it. What a heck of a boat, man. The greatest boat ever. That's our Titanic update today.
I'd like to avoid talking about the Titanic before I go on my first
That's
cruise
how
on Sunday.
horrific the situation is in Miami. This guy is the foundation of this core they talk about, and he's basically said, trade me to Phoenix. I'm never playing with you bums again because you didn't give me an extension.
So Jimmy Butler is suspended by the Heat for 2 games.
His second to such suspension.
Second time he's been suspended in a 3-week span.
Yes.
He wants to be traded
to Phoenix.
His relationship with the Heat, quote, is over. Did he not lead them to the NBA Finals like 2 years ago?
Yeah. He wants an extension, and they said no.
Jimmy Butler is 35 years old.
Marquette alum?
You called his games at Marquette. Thanks, Jesse, for taking that. I was just about to say.
Yeah, the biggest, not one of the biggest mistakes of my life was not attempting to become an agent to be his agent. I asked him to be his agent at the banquet for Marquette. When I said Kemba Walker will be a good pro, this guy will be a better pro, I called John Hammond, told him to trade down. He has done nothing that I didn't predict. And I said, can I be your agent? And I went back, and he laughed and goes, Homer, come on. There's nobody, not even his agent, believed in him as much as I did. But I blew it, so radio life.
Well, in fairness, you didn't really blow it. Like, what you do have an accounting degree, from what I understand.
We did learn that, yeah.
What qualifies you to... I know you've proclaimed yourself, I could have been Aaron Rodgers' quarterback's coach.
Yes.
What is it in your experience as you've negotiated yourself from a 3-hour show to a 1-hour show that would make you an agent?
Well, no, I would have just found someone to be an agent, probably called Tausch or Bulaga or Jim McElvain. McElvain would have been the best one. Said, who do I have it? Because I want to do whatever is necessary to become Jimmy Butler's agent because I will do better for him than anybody on the planet Earth. No one believes in his talent as much as I do. Now, I didn't even take it that far. I just wussed out. So
he is a 6-time All-Star, a 5-time All-NBA team member. Is he problematic? He was with the Bulls,
yes,
and that ended poorly.
No, he's been a mess. I went in and asked, I won't say the Marquette player, and then I said, I don't even really want to talk to you. What's happened to Jimmy? They say, and he goes, yeah, he's a mess. Totally a mess. I said, what happened? He said, money. It happens to some people. They get the money and they just go crazy. And he said, so that was the end of that discussion, and that was many years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago.
The 30th overall pick at the bottom of the first round in 2011 by the Bulls.
Yeah.
It ended poorly with the Bulls. It ended poorly with the Timberwolves. It really went poorly in Philadelphia. He was there for a year?
And then was great in Miami.
But he has been great in Miami. There's no doubt about that. Whoa, Nelly!
Whoa, Nelly!
Giannis, the leading vote getter for the 2nd straight year for the NBA All-Star game. Are we still somehow taking Giannis for granted, Homer?
No. When nobody cares about the All-Star game.
Well, clearly some people care about the Eagles.
No,
the leading
no one
vote
cares.
getter.
No one
I don't
cares
think he
about
got 4 votes, and that's okay.
Fine,
out
he got,
of 9 votes, he got
whatever.
the most. Like, there's a lot of people
He
that
was
voted
picked
for him.
the best player by the people that work at Speedway. This means absolutely nothing. Nobody watches the game. Nobody cares. They have a great ability to do it and solve this by having a U.S. versus foreign game, but they've chosen not to do that. Everybody would love that. And so I feel bad for him because at some point it meant something. Now it means nothing. So do we take him for granted? Probably a little bit, but
I don't take him for granted, but I don't also think a lot about the Bucs unless I get an alert on my Twitter that Justin Garcia is hosting Bucs Talk, and then I tune in to watch that. Him and Brandon do a great job on there. So, yeah, I don't care about the NBA All-Star Game either. I used to. Am I getting this right? Jackson Jr. is in the dunk contest?
That was announced yesterday, yes.
yeah,
Andre Jackson
Here's
Jr.
a good example. They should not have announced it.
Why?
Nelly! Because it's like announcing that I'm in the dunking contest.
No, Andre Jackson
It's exactly
Jr.
the same.
He is an
He has
NBA
no
player.
more business being in the dunking contest than I do. So if the dunking contest has become irrelevant, you have 2 G League guys, whatever, then when you add people, don't mention it. Just tell him he's in, and then when the dunking contest occurs, he's there. Because all it does is reinforce the belief that it's a joke.
He brings up a good point.
So I guess my follow-up to this was, wouldn't, in fact, a 70-year-old radio host being selected for the dunk contest create even more attention than Andre Jackson Jr. being selected?
I do want to give credit to Stephen A. Smith. He has suggested you make a national dunking competition, and then the top 10 people come to the All-Star game, and that some big shot player uses him, becomes the coach, and then you would have this, and that is brilliant. It would be fantastic. And again, the great players don't want to be in the dunking contest, but they might want to be the coach for, one of the 5 or 10 finalists that make it. And there are certainly people all around the country that would love to do that. You win $1 million or something. It's possible he's had another idea is good, but can't believe anyone better. That's brilliant.
I think Tausch would be on board with Homer's idea of don't announce who's in the dunk contest, and I think more people would tune in on that Saturday night to find out they raise the curtain and you find out who's there to be in the dunk contest. And it could be LeBron or it could be Andre Jackson Jr. You never know.
I mean, let's ask when people heard it what their first thought was. And their first thought was the dunking contest is officially dead.
Jeez.
Whoa, Nelly! You know why he's...
This
hold
is what
on,
Pete
we did
Carroll
his
is going
games.
to be like in Las
we
Vegas,
did his
too.
games
I'm
in
old.
college.
I'm going to say whatever I want, and I don't care.
No, we did his games in college. Tony Smith called him crazy, man, because he was a good defensive, and he was a very important part to them winning the national title. Anybody in this group can beat him in horse. He's at his best when he never shoots. And I don't know.
Well, he wouldn't be
that
shooting, he'd be dunking.
I can't think of any dunk he ever had. You got to get the ball to dunk. Whoa, Nelly!
All right.
But he's hold on. The change in his increased role with the team and minutes has made the team better. He has a role of significance as a defensive stopper, proving again, if you want to know about if somebody can make it in the NBA, if they can guard multiple positions, that's the best chance they have, not how many points they score in college.
And he also now has a role of significance on All-Star Saturday night in the dunk contest.
No, he has no role of significance. He has a role of increasing. As people use an example that the dunking contest is dead, he may be at the top of the list. If not, he's 1, 2, or 3 as an example of that.
Last questions about the football weekend. Commanders, Eagles, 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Bills, Chiefs, 5:30 kickoff on Sunday in the NFC and AFC championship games, respectively. Homer, what is the matchup you want to see in Super Bowl 59 following the outcomes this weekend?
It doesn't matter. The matchup, the greatest matchup, is the game right now this week. Buffalo and Kansas City. Whoever wins that game will win the Super Bowl. It'd be nice if the rookie quarterback makes the Super Bowl. The AFC is winning the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the game this weekend, Kansas City and Buffalo. People aren't old enough to remember the days when the Steelers were so good and the Raiders were so good, and you had these games, and I feel badly for the team that loses that contest because they will be the second-best team left.
Jason, do you agree
Did
with
that
Homer?
answer your question?
It does, yeah.
It's fascinating because I don't. Homer really is very opinionated. He's like
this
the
is one of the
anti-me.
great games in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Kansas City and Buffalo. This is historic in terms of the teams, the organizations, and that someone has to lose because both of them should be playing in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl.
I am looking forward to that game. I think you're probably right. I am tired of the Chiefs. I want the Bills to win the game, and then I want them to win the Super Bowl.
Really? You're tired of the Chiefs?
I am tired of the Chiefs. I'm ready for some new blood.
That'd be a better story. You always talk about stories. You'd have one of the greatest stories
You don't
in the
think
history
the
of the
Buffalo
NFL.
Bills? You don't think the Buffalo Bills,
Hell
who lost
no.
4 consecutive Super Bowls in the 90s, are a good story?
Only in Buffalo. You have a chance for this to be the first team ever to match what the Packers did in the 60s and win 3 straight NFL championships, all of which will be Super Bowls. Yes, that will be remembered forever. Buffalo will be remembered in Buffalo forever. But this is greatness. This is Jordan-like. Did you want Jordan to win 3 titles in a row, or were you tired of Jordan?
Well, no, I wasn't tired of Jordan. But as we established earlier in the show, it's not really Patrick Mahomes. It's the defense.
That it is. And it is Kansas City.
Mahomes is the star, though. Like,
he is the star.
The
No doubt
Patriots
about it.
defense carried them to some
They
titles,
did.
too.
No
but
doubt about that,
It's
too.
Brady and Belichick.
Totally agree.
If Kansas City wins this weekend, it starts to become our Mahomes and Andy Reid as good as Brady and Belichick. And I think you could make a case if they win 3 in a row for the first time ever.
They will have done that. They're still not equal. Come on. Brady and Belichick have how many? 7? 6?
They have
7?
6 together.
6. And I checked. 3 is not 6.
3 in a row?
Still not
It's true.
6. Which
Never
would you
had 3
take?
in a row.
Which would you want? What do you want?
6.
3 in a row or
Well,
6?
I want 6, yeah.
Thank you.
By
Jason?
the way, Robert Saleh, the new defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, a job he has previously held. Now that he
Good
is
decision.
Now he
out
knows
of the
all our
running.
secrets.
I was
That
amazed
stinks.
how bad the Jets defense got after he left. Can you explain that,
Yeah,
Jason?
interesting. Maybe he's a good coach.
Coaching
Coaching matters, from what I understand.
The line? Yeah, no, I thought you'd say they had a great defensive line coach.
No,
That's what I
their
thought you were going to
defensive
say.
line
I
is
set
in-
it up for you. You don't even know who the hell it was. Can you
don't.
even name the
They're-
last 3 Packer defensive line coaches?
I can name the Packers 3. I definitely can't name the 49ers.
Can you name
last
any
3.
other
Could
one
you name
in the
any-
NFL?
Any other defensive line coach in the National Football League right now?
Unless he worked for the Packers.
Casey Rodgers, who interviewed with the Packers and now went
There
to
you
the
go.
Lions.
I rest my case. Thank you. I'll take that as a no.
We will wrap things up with Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. Homer, Feel Good Friday will be you telling us what your latest charitable humanitarian endeavor is, because you never give those. You never share that.
All right, I'm giving it a preview. 7, 2.5 is a part of it.
All right, we'll hear it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and while I'll admit I'd rather be gearing up to see Green Bay playing this weekend, I'm still feeling good on a Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. With only a couple of weekends left of football for this season, it might be time to start thinking about getting to work on your next paint project around the house. And just like the pro football players we love watching on Sundays, I recommend doing what my family did and get connected with the pro painters from Hallman Lindsay for your next project. Choosing the pros is the way to go. Just stop into any Madison area Home and Lindsay location, ask, and they'll help find the pro painters best suited for what you need. And remember, Home and Lindsay Paints is the one paint you can trust to withstand the challenges of Wisconsin's weather year-round. Home and Lindsay, great paint, great people, and stick around for
The Xavier Lucas transfer drama making its way to Monday's Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez. Coach calling for the powers that be to step in to resolve the big picture issue.
Sooner or later, you'd like for the NC2A or someone to put their arms around it and have restrictions and guidelines that people have to follow. And if you don't follow them, you're going to be reprimanded, you're going to be dealt with. It's the Wild West right now. I just don't like it. I'm glad I'm not involved in it.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Happy New Year and happy new engagement. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. You have heard me talk about corporate, fundraising, and even casino events, but we are also amazing wedding DJs. Never cheesy and always the perfect fit for the perfect couple. Please let us help you narrate your wedding day love story while playing an amazing soundtrack that will rock your dance floor. Create lifelong memories of your one special day. Do it right and do it with celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
There's a good chance if you watch sports, you're getting served information about hormone optimization. What does that even mean? Dr. Ness Rodriguez at Carbon World Health can tell you exactly what hormone optimization means. He will take your blood work and let you know if it's right for you. If you're feeling sluggish, not losing weight like you used to, you're not gaining muscle like you used to, or you just don't feel like yourself in most aspects of your life, go see Dr. Ness Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. In fact, sign up for the 6-week experience so you can see everything that Carbon World Health has to offer, including hormone optimization. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
You gotta get down on Friday. It's time to finish the week off right. It's Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Home and Lindsay.
Born and raised under the rain and a western wind, felt the way.
Time for Feel Good Friday, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints. And as Homer does whenever I'm on with him, when it's John Anderson Tuesday or Brian Bulaga Thursday, I turn it over to Homer to tell us what meaningful charitable action he's undertaking lately.
All right, we have John Anderson, 7'2.5", because he high jumped 7'2.5" at some point in his career.
The professor.
He is, of course, formerly of ESPN. He still does some work for him, but now a professor at Missouri. Well, he had a track guy that he called the GOAT. I can't even remember who it is. This person's so good, he called him the GOAT. And I brought up that I'm a huge fan of Friends for Health in Haiti. This lady, Katie, Dr. Catherine Wolf, started this and built a hospital in the middle of nowhere in Haiti where they had nothing. And over the years, they've told us how important the goats are for these people. The most important thing you can do for a person is get a goat, and a goat is like $100. So every penny I would raise, I would say, buy goats. And whatever that amount was. So John Anderson heard about it, and in honor of his track star, the GOAT, he donated money to Friends for Health in Haiti to buy goats for all the people and change their lives.
So just to be clear, you are advocating for buying goats, and you don't
Yes.
like it when I call you the GOAT of Wisconsin sports talk radio history. There's some irony there, isn't it? Sounds like you could put those two things together. Goats, the goat for goats.
Goats for
and
goats.
You could raise some big-time funds for Friends for Health in Haiti.
Goats for goats. That's good.
The importance of the goat to these people. Goats. Fine, whatever you want to say.
We're doing it.
That'd be a great idea. Let's do it.
God, I'm excited about this.
I bet Haiti Lady Katie would love that.
She'd love anything that helps these people. So.
All right, let's get started. I want mock-up ideas on my desk by close of business.
Just out of curiosity, who are you actually talking to about this?
You and Jesse for starters.
No, I'm out.
Put me in touch with. No, you're trying to get these Haitian people goats. You are the goats.
And
Let's get to work.
Hold on. I have decided the manner in which I'm going to do that. Unlike you, who seem to want to tell me how to do things, this is a nice move of Tausch. If you choose to do it however you want, that's fine. As John Anderson chose to do it in the way he felt comfortable
I'm in
with.
for $100 for a goat.
All right.
And then
that's
give
what
me
they
more
cost.
information.
I think it's $100 a goat.
All right, give me
Who
more
would have thought
information.
a goat was that important? All these different things. The one thing you can do for these people is a goat more than anything else.
Get me more information. Yeah, they can milk, I will. All kinds of companionship, everything you could want from a goat. That's it for us today. Thanks to Homer for being our cousin sub of the day. He is the goat of
and I'm
Wisconsin
back next
Sports
week,
Talk
right?
Radio.
Next Friday, am I right?
Next Friday, Homer and Tausch.
Okay.
Buckle up.
2 goats. Bye. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella